Chapter 1446. The bloody hole in Tiangang's chest shone brightly as a mysterious aura intertwined. His blood and qi became more vigorous as his injuries healed rapidly. Behind Tiangang, the void trembled as if there was a heavenly drum beating on everyone's heart. The mysterious rhythm made everyone's blood boil, as if they were about to explode. A mysterious figure appeared behind Tiangang, as if it was an ancient innate god. It emitted a vast and mysterious aura as it appeared behind Tiangang. Junior brother Long, your physical body is indeed strong. However, my strongest point isn't my physical body. Let me see how strong you are in other aspects. Tiangang's eyes seemed to have turned into a pure gold color, majestic and mysterious. He said slowly as he slammed his palm towards Ling Xiao. Boom. Heaven and earth trembled. The heavenly dipper and the innate godly spirit behind him seemed to have merged into one. Boundless laws of nature rose up, forming blazing flames, peerless lightning, freezing ice, and raging seawater. All of these intertwined together to form a vast power that exploded outwards. At this moment, Tiangang seemed to have become a supreme emperor, who ruled over the world. His anger could shock the world. This is Heavenly God's secret technique. Someone trembled as he couldn't help but exclaim in shock. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Heavenly God's secret technique? Is this the Heavenly God's secret technique that is known as the 19th secret technique of the Heavenly God's secret technique? But weren't these ancient secret techniques lost long ago? Where did senior brother Tiangang get this from? Everyone's hearts trembled as they found it difficult to calm down. According to legends, the 108 secret techniques of the ancient era contain the ultimate secrets of heaven and earth. They were extremely powerful and had been passed down from the ancient era until now. Most of the secret techniques had been lost. Just like the divine world's 12 immortal sacred grounds, they relied on 12 flawless secret techniques to establish themselves. They were powerful to the extreme. The 19th secret technique of Tiangang, the Heavenly God's secret technique, was known to be able to mobilize the power of the ancient gods. It was terrifying to the extreme. Heavenly God's secret technique? Ling Xiao's eyes shone with a bright light. The wordless heavenly book in his body was excited as it emitted waves of urgency, as if it was eager to retrieve the Heavenly God's secret technique. Boom. Ling Xiao took a big gulp and swallowed all the endless divine light around him. His body was full of divine power, and his strength began to skyrocket. A blazing blade light swept across the void. Ling Xiao slashed at Tiangang. The 7 styles of judgment clashed with the divine God secret technique, and the blazing blade radiance bloomed in front of everyone. However, when Astral Vault's palm imprint landed, there seemed to be the silhouettes of 3,000 gods appearing behind him. Boundless divine energy infused Astral Vault's body, causing his palm to emit fluctuations of immortality. Crack. The resplendent saber light directly exploded, and Ling Xiao was also sent flying by Tiangang's palm. Ling Xiao's arms trembled, and the divine power in his body boiled. His eyes flashed with divine light. Tiangang's Tianshan secret technique seemed to be extremely compatible with his own bloodline, allowing him to explode with terrifying power. Ling Xiao flew back, but a golden divine dragon flew out from his palm and charged towards Tiangang. Boom, boom, boom. Intense vibrations resounded across the sky, and the energy fluctuations around Tiangang became even more terrifying. His entire body was infused with the power of the ancient gods. Although he wasn't a divine king, his strength was even more terrifying than a divine king. He continued to attack Ling Xiao fiercely. This isn't the complete divine god secret technique. It's incomplete. Otherwise, it should be able to raise Tiangang's cultivation by a whole realm. Tong Yuan said slowly, and his eyes were incomparably deep. Among the 108 secret techniques, every secret technique was extremely mysterious and had different uses. For example, when the complete divine god secret technique was used, Tiangang would be able to raise his cultivation by a whole realm after receiving the support of the ancient gods. He would be able to unleash the power of a great circle divine king, and he would probably be able to defeat Ling Xiao in a single blow. However, even if it was an incomplete secret technique, it was enough to raise Tiangang's strength by 1 or 2 small realms. Tiangang and Ling Xiao seemed to have returned to the level where they were evenly matched, and they started a great battle of accumulation. Although Ling Xiao had a few secret techniques, he couldn't display them in front of everyone. Otherwise, no matter how strong the divine god's secret technique was, he would be invincible as long as he used the sky-devouring secret technique. Kill. Ling Xiao's body emitted a dazzling radiance, and blood qi filled the air. His eyes seemed to have a sharp blade radiance flickering. He displayed the 7 styles of judgment, and turned into a heavenly emperor that ruled over all living things, and engaged in an intense battle with Tiangang. Under the pressure of the divine god's secret technique, Ling Xiao could feel that his comprehension of the 7 styles of judgment was getting deeper and deeper. Even his physical body was showing signs of breaking through again. Boom! Ling Xiao and Tiangang clashed fiercely once again. Endless divine light soared into the sky, and the two of them were like divine dragons, fighting from the sky to the ground. Wherever they went, heaven and earth would crumble, and everything would turn into dust. Ling Xiao used the 7 styles of judgment to fight against Tiangang, and he was under great pressure. His body seemed to be emitting traces of blood mist. Bang! Tiangang threw out a punch, and a terrifying divine shadow appeared behind him. It was as if it was supported by the heavens, and it made his strength even more terrifying. Although Ling Xiao tried his best to resist, Tiangong's punch still landed on his arm. His arm trembled, and his flesh was badly mangled. Even his bones seemed to be broken. Kill. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with sharpness. He used 9 blades in a row, and each blade was like a heavenly river that traversed the void. The 9 blade rivers fell on Tiangang, forming an incomparably terrifying blade domain. Tiangang also let out a long roar. His voice was ancient and vast, as if it had a mysterious resonance with heaven and earth. The more he fought, the braver he became. Bathed in the blade river that filled the sky, his fist was earth-shattering. It broke through the terrifying blade light and landed on Ling Xiao's body with extreme speed. Boom! Ling Xiao's body shook violently, and he was suddenly sent flying. A trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. At this point in the battle, Ling Xiao was finally injured. Is Long Outyin going to lose? Everyone couldn't help but feel refreshed. Tiangong's current aura was too terrifying. Although he was still in the great circle of the heavenly god realm, his strength had already surpassed the strength of an ordinary divine king. He was like a demon god that could destroy heaven and earth, and it made everyone tremble with fear. Naturally, Ling Xiao's fate was sealed in everyone's eyes. As for the previous time when Ling Xiao injured Tiangang, when everyone thought about it, it was probably because Ling Xiao used some kind of forbidden technique. However, as time passed, his strength immediately declined. Kacha. Blazing lightning bloomed around Tiangong's body. His eyes were filled with battle intent, and his black hair fluttered in the wind. He threw a punch at Ling Xiao. Chapter 1447. How terrifying. Everyone couldn't help but hold their breaths as their bodies began to tremble. Tiangang's fist landed on Ling Xiao's head. Endless lightning bolts enveloped the entire world, as if it was the tribulation of the God King. Its terrifying aura was not much weaker than Zhou Daoji's tribulation of the God King. Could Ling Xiao really withstand it? Everyone's heart was filled with questions. Roar. At that moment, a majestic dragon roar resounded through the sky. It contained an ancient, majestic, and mysterious aura. Within the dazzling lightning bolts, a golden vortex rose up and devoured all the lightning bolts in the sky. Ling Xiao looked solemn and dignified. He was neither sad nor happy. The aura around him had reached its peak at this moment. The space between his eyebrows, his heart, and his dantian erupted with a resplendent light at the same time. A golden divine dragon rose from his body and circled around him, erupting with an incomparably majestic energy fluctuation. Ling Xiao felt as if he had broken through some kind of shackle. It was as if he had been freed from an endless shackle. His entire body felt relaxed and at ease. The blood in his body boiled and rose up like a dragon. Behind his head, a 7-colored divine light appeared. It was like the light of Buddha. It made him look even more majestic and mysterious. That's the triple deity dragon? Lu Zhengfeng and Wang Lin both shuddered. They could not help but exclaim as their eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Xiao had broken through the 5th level of the indestructible war body, the triple deity dragon realm. Rumble. Ling Xiao's aura surged to the extreme. His gaze was extremely sharp. He also threw out a punch. The fist imprint was like a divine dragon flying out, emitting endless divine light as it blasted towards Tiangang. That dragon was surrounded by 7-colored divine light. It looked ancient and mysterious, causing the sky to tremble violently. Boom. Tiangang felt as if he had been struck by lightning. Even with the support of the gods, he could not withstand this kind of power. The mysterious runes around him exploded. The punch landed on his shoulder and broke his arm. It exploded into a cloud of blood mist. Tiangang coughed out blood and was sent flying for thousands of feet. Roar. A clear dragon's roar shook the heavens and earth. At this moment, only Ling Xiao's figure was left in the sky. He stood tall and upright, with a divine dragon coiling around him. His eyes were clear as he looked disdainfully at the world. This brat is ruthless to others but even more ruthless to himself. He actually used the pressure of Heaven's star to break through to the triple god's dragon transformation realm. I like it. Ha ha. Han Li looked at Ling Xiao with eyes full of admiration and amazement. Everyone was agitated, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. The battle between Ling Xiao and Astral Vault was full of twists and turns, ups and downs, making the audience feel incomparably satisfied. There were even many disciples who developed a fanatical worship for Ling Xiao and Astral Vault. Perfected divine dragon body and level 5 indestructible war body. This feels great. Ling Xiao's eyes sparkled. No one knew that Ling Xiao's indestructible battle body had not only reached the 5th level of the triple god transformation stage, but his divine dragon body had also reached the great perfection stage. Originally, with Ling Xiao's cultivation speed, it would take at least a few more years of tempering to reach the great perfection stage. However, in the battle with Astral Vault, under Astral Vault's powerful pressure and Ling Xiao's suppression, both of these peerless martial arts had finally broken through. Ling Xiao's current physical body was more than 10 times stronger than before. Although he had not entered the Divine King realm, Ling Xiao's current physical strength was enough to sweep away ordinary Divine King realm powerhouses. The combination of the Divine Dragon body and level 5 indestructible battle body allowed Ling Xiao's physical body to reach an extreme. However, the aura of the triple god's transformation stage concealed everything. No one could see that Ling Xiao had also cultivated the divine dragon body. Moreover, he had also broken through. Boom. Blood energy rose around Astral Vault's body, and the power of the heavenly god's secret skill erupted. His arm that was smashed by Ling Xiao also began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye. Junior brother Long, you've become stronger. Perhaps you've already surpassed me. Why don't we settle this in one blow? Astral Vault looked deeply at Ling Xiao and said. His intuition was very sharp. The current Ling Xiao gave him the feeling that he was countless times more dangerous than before. He could faintly feel that Ling Xiao's indestructible battle body was not as simple as breaking through to level 5. Alright. Then let's settle this in one blow. Ling Xiao nodded calmly. He and Astral Vault did not have any deep hatred. They were just sparring. There was no need to fight to the death. Otherwise, if Ling Xiao went all out, he believed that no matter how many trump cards Astral Vault had, he would definitely die. Big brother, this Long Outyin can't really defeat Astral Vault, right? Lu Wenqing's face was very ugly as he said unwillingly. It's hard to say. After all, this is just a sparring match. It's not a fight to the death. Maybe Astral Vault will be defeated by Long Outyin. Lu Wu said indifferently, and there seemed to be a black light flickering in his eyes. Astral Vault is too weak. Lu Yan also complained with some dissatisfaction. They were looking forward to seeing Long Outyin suffer a crushing defeat. Unfortunately, it seemed like Astral Vault would not let them get what they wanted. Settle this in one blow. Interesting. Han Li's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. He originally thought that after Ling Xiao broke through, there would be an intense battle between him and Astral Vault. He did not expect that the battle would end so quickly. The gazes of Tong Yuan and the rest also landed on the two of them. Boom. Astral Vault's eyes suddenly became incomparably deep, as if it contained a chaotic world. An ancient and vicissitude aura filled the air. A mysterious force rose from his body and merged with the heavenly god's secret skill. It was as if an incomparably terrifying force had erupted. The power of Panga's bloodline. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. As expected, Astral Vault was going all out. For this, he did not hesitate to unseal a trace of Panga's bloodline power. At the same time, the heavenly god's secret skill and the immortal war body were activated, making him extremely terrifying. Boom! Astral Vault's palm swept across the sky. Heaven and earth seemed to have lost their color. The wind and clouds stirred, and the sun and moon lost their light. Astral Vault's palm covered the sky. The 3,000 gods behind him roared at the same time. Divine light gushed out as if it was going to destroy the world. This was Astral Vault's strongest attack. Ling Xiao's powerful pressure made him boil. Good. Chapter 1448. Ling Xiao's punch didn't seem to contain the slightest bit of smoke and fire. It was simple and indifferent, but the power of the punch enveloped the entire world. It was as if the Tao of nature was the closest to the heavenly Tao. It was simple and indifferent, but it encompassed the surrounding void. Rumble. Ling Xiao's punch and Tiangang's palm collided. Instantly, it was as if the sky had exploded, an endless divine light burst out. The void trembled violently, and tiny cracks appeared, emitting black light. It was terrifying to the extreme. That's a crack in the void. How could their attack be so powerful? Someone exclaimed, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. One had to know that the space in the divine world was incomparably sturdy. Even God King experts couldn't break through the restrictions of space. Only saint experts could use supreme strength to tear the void apart. Now the huge collision between Ling Xiao and Tiangang caused the world to tremble, and cracks appeared in the void, completely shocking everyone. Perhaps, those peerless geniuses in the immortal sacred grounds could also tear the void apart when they were in the God King realm. However, Ling Xiao and Tiangang were only in the great circle of the heavenly God realm. This terrifying scene left everyone dumbfounded. Boom! Unparalleled divine light burst out and countless abnormal phenomena were annihilated. Even the void of 3,000 gods and devils behind Heavenly Dipper disappeared. In the void, only Ling Xiao's punch was left. It was simple, natural, mysterious, and vast. That was a punch that reached the limit of the physical body, shocking the world and making ghosts and gods weep. In the end, the fist landed on Astral Vault's body. Astral Vault's blood chi surged as boundless divine light erupted. Powerful runes bloomed one after another, turning into an incomparably vast barrier in an attempt to block Ling Xiao's fist. Gotcha! However, the explosion of the punch also broke the barrier. As if struck by lightning, Tiangang's body trembled violently. Then he was sent flying, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Ha! Junior brother Long, you've won. Tiangang's face was incomparably pale, but his eyes were incomparably bright. He laughed heartily, and he didn't seem to be affected by his defeat. Not only that, Tiangang's eyes were filled with a strong battle intent. It was a feeling of excitement after seeing a prey, as though he had found a worthy opponent. Thanks for letting me win, senior brother Tiangang. Ling Xiao cupped his fists at Tiangang and smiled. Speaking of which, Ling Xiao and the Pangu clan could be considered to be fated. Ever since he obtained the reincarnation sacred art from Pangu Chu, he had met the Pangu clan in the reincarnation realm, and finally, he met Tiangang in the divine world. The Pangu clan was also a powerful ancient clan in the god realm. However, it seemed that they had offended some big shot a few million years ago, and the Pangu clan had disappeared from the god realm for a long time. Ling Xiao did not expect that Tiangang, a member of the Pangu clan, would appear in Ares College and seal his own bloodline power. Ling Xiao had a deep understanding of the Pangu clan's terrifying physical body. He believed that if Tiangang undid all the seals, his physical body might not necessarily be much weaker than Ling Xiao's. Tiangang was defeated. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, became the new number 1 on the Hidden Dragon ranking. Senior brother Tiangang actually lost? Wang Lin and Lu Zhengfeng were in a daze. They could not accept it. In their hearts, senior brother Tiangang had always been an invincible existence. It was so in Ares College, and it was the same even when facing the geniuses of other colleges. But now he had been defeated by Ling Xiao. They were not the only ones. Many people in Ares College who admired Tiangang could not accept this result. Big Brother won. Big Brother is the number 1 on the Hidden Dragon ranking. Let's see who dares to offend us in the future. Yi Liangchen laughed arrogantly with a smug look on his face. This guy is getting stronger and stronger. Doesn't this mean that I have no hope of turning the tables? The black donkey mumbled at the side. It looked at Ling Xiao with a complicated gaze. It was a genius of the Draconic Horse Clan, and had always been arrogant. In its opinion, only a peerless great emperor was qualified to make it a mount. If it was not for the emperor's request, it would not follow Ling Xiao. It was even holding back its anger, hoping that one day, its strength would surpass Ling Xiao's. Then it would beat Ling Xiao up and make Ling Xiao its mount. But now it seemed that it would be difficult to achieve this wish. And why am I so happy? Did water enter my brain after being this bastard's mount for so long? This is not a good thing. The black donkey mumbled to itself, its face full of vigilance. Tiangang has been defeated. But Ares College will definitely be able to get into the top 10, or even the top 3 in the academy tournament. Tong Yuan smiled slightly, not taking Tiangang's defeat to heart. This generational tournament had made him extremely happy. Zhou Daoji had broken through to the Divine King realm, and the battle between Tiangang and Ling Xiao had caused an uproar. Tong Yuan had seen a possibility. One had to know that in the previous academy tournament, Ares College had always been at the bottom. This time they could finally hold their heads high. That's right. Long Outyin and Tiangang are not divine kings, but they are stronger than divine kings. Ordinary divine kings are no match for them. It would be best if they could break through to the divine king realm before the academy tournament. Then we might even be able to get first place, let alone the top 3. Hanli said with a smile. First place. Tong Yuan's eyes lit up, but then he laughed bitterly. Getting first place in the academy tournament was too difficult. The academy tournament covered all 10 celestial domains, and almost half of the deity realm's peerless geniuses had participated. If one could get first place in the tournament, the war god's temple would probably immediately groom them like a holy son. Let's give it a try. There are still a few months before the academy tournament. The deity's lake and the god of war pagoda are open to them. Let's see how far they can go. Hanli said slowly. All right. Tong Yuan nodded and said. After Ling Xiao defeated Tiangang, the generational tournament was nearing its end. Although there were still people who chose to challenge the other two, with Ling Xiao and Tiangang in front of them, most of the Ares College disciples seemed to have suffered a blow. Even their battles seemed somewhat perfunctory. Tiangang did not choose to fight. Instead, he sat down cross-legged to heal himself while carefully comprehending his gains from the battle. Just as Tong Yuan was about to announce the end of the generational tournament, Ling Xiao stood up once again. Lu Wu, have you forgotten about our death match? Ling Xiao looked at Lu Wu indifferently. A death match? Nonsense. Tong Yuan's expression turned ugly. Lu Wu had already broken through to the Divine King realm. With such talent, he would be able to get a decent ranking in the academy tournament. Tong Yuan naturally did not want to hurt anyone. Chapter 1449. Dean, I remember that after the generational competition, we can have a battle to the death, right? Between Lu Wu and me, only one can survive. So please allow us to have a battle to the death. Ling Xiao said calmly as if he did not see Tong Yuan's ugly expression. That's right. We really need to settle this. Lu Wu said calmly. His eyes were deep, as if there was a black light shooting out from them. It was cold and indifferent, as if it could see through people's hearts. Is there really no way to resolve the hatred between the two of you? Must you have a battle to the death? Tong Yuan sighed as he smiled bitterly. Although Lu Wu had broken through to the Divine King realm, everyone had seen Ling Xiao's strength. No one thought that Lu Wu was a match for Ling Xiao. If it was a battle to the death, Lu Wu might die at Ling Xiao's hands. Dean, Lu Wu and I will fight to the death, regardless of who wins or loses. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as his eyes flashed with a sharp light. Not to mention that Lu Wu had the inheritance of time and menstruation, Lu Wu had tried to kill Ling Xiao several times. It was impossible for the two of them to coexist. Moreover, Lu Wu had a reason for Ling Xiao to kill him. Lu Wu said calmly, "Deem this battle to the death is unavoidable." Tong Yuan smiled bitterly and said, "All right then, the two of you can enter the deity arena." Although Tong Yuan did not want to see Ling Xiao and Lu Wu fight to the death, he could not stop it. Even if he stopped it, the two of them would probably fight again once they left Ares College. Rather than that, it would be better to let them settle their grudges in Ares College. Swoosh! Swoosh! Ling Xiao and Lu Wu leaped into the air, turning into two streaks of light, one gold and one black. As they entered the deity arena, Long Outyin is going to have a battle to the death with Lu Wu? I wonder who will win. After all, there are too many factors in a battle to the death. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with anticipation. Isn't that obvious? Long Outyin will definitely win. Even Big Dipper Sr. was defeated by Long Outyin. Although Lu Wu has broken through to the Divine King realm, it will be difficult for him to defeat Long Outyin. That's hard to say. The strength of each of the 9 great kings is extremely strong. When they are sparring, they are unable to use their full strength. They all have trump cards, but when it comes to a real life and death battle, it's hard to say. Let's hope Long Outyin wins. If he dies at the hands of Lu Wu, it will be a great loss to Ares College. Everyone was in a heated discussion. Initially, everyone had calmed down after the battle between Tiangang and Long Outyin had ended. However, this battle of life and death had caused everyone's heart to be on edge again. The generational competition this time was really full of twists and turns. There were too many accidents. Long Outyin, I didn't expect you to be so powerful. But today you still have to die. Lu Wu said calmly as a dim light flickered in his eyes. Oh, are you that confident that you can kill me? Ling Xiao said indifferently. Your talent is very strong. In time, I'm afraid it's not impossible for you to become a saint. Unfortunately, you don't know how to hide your strength. The tallest tree in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. You're courting death, so you can't blame others. Lu Wu said calmly, but there was a deeper meaning in his words. Oh, you're so confident after breaking through to the Divine King realm? Or do you have other means to kill me? Ling Xiao looked at Lu Wu curiously. At the same time, his guess was confirmed. Lu Wu said indifferently, "You'll know soon enough." Ling Xiao sneered and said, "Lu Wu, a battle of life and death is not a battle of words. No matter what scheme you have, take my fist first." Rumble. As soon as Ling Xiao finished speaking, the blood qi around him exploded like a dragon. A dazzling fist was blasted towards Lu Wu. After his divine dragon body and indestructible war body had reached perfection, Ling Xiao's physical body had reached an unimaginable level. Therefore, he didn't need to use any martial arts at all. His casual attack was comparable to a divine king's strength. You're courting death. Lu Wu's eyes were cold as he said indifferently. He also launched a counterattack. Kacha. A dazzling rune rose from his palm. In an instant, heaven and earth trembled, and lightning flashed. Dazzling thunderbolts fell from the 9 heavens, suppressing Ling Xiao. Those thunderbolts intertwined with each other, as if they had turned into a vast 5 elements millstone. It was majestic and powerful. That was the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique. Ling Xiao noticed that Lu Wu had also cultivated the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique to completion. Rumble. Ling Xiao's punch was purely based on his physical strength. The fist covered the sky and shattered the thunderbolts in the sky. An earth-shattering collision broke out. One had to admit that the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique that Lu Wu had used with his Divine King realm strength was extremely terrifying. It was comparable to the combat strength of a Divine King realm expert. However, it was a pity that he had met Ling Xiao. The fist erupted with boundless light, and it tore through the layers of lightning and blasted the 5-element millstone into pieces. After that, it smashed down towards Lu Wu's chest with an imposing aura like a rainbow. Lu Wu's expression changed slightly. Black light shone from his palm, and a black ancient sword appeared. The sword radiance engulfed the heavens and the earth as it slashed towards Ling Xiao's arm. It was a sage-to-be treasure. Lu Wu had used the sage-to-be treasure to display the Great Wilderness Sword principle. Not only was the sword radiance extremely fast, but it also exuded a mysterious aura that enveloped Ling Xiao. That was the power of the menstrual period. Since it was a battle of life and death, it would be a battle to the death. Not to mention a sage-to-be treasure. Even a legendary emperor weapon would not be hidden. The mysterious power of time wanted to bind Ling Xiao's entire being. Ling Xiao had already expected that. His expression was still calm. However, a dazzling rune flew out from his palm. The power of the menstrual period erupted and counteracted the power of the menstrual period. At the same time, on Ling Xiao's fist, numerous blood and chi dragons burst forth and collided violently with the black ancient sword. Buzz. The black ancient sword buzzed and vibrated. A powerful force erupted and Lu Wu's arm trembled violently. It was as if he could not hold the black ancient sword firmly, and his arm became numb. Ling Xiao took advantage of this opportunity and punched Lu Wu's shoulder. Crack. A crisp sound was heard. Lu Wu's arm was fractured. Accompanied by a flash of blood, Ling Xiao swept his leg out like a divine whip and hit Lu Wu's chest. Lu Wu's chest was swept by the terrifying divine power and directly caved in. Lu Wu spat out a mouthful of blood and was immediately sent flying. Chapter 1450. Kill. Lu Wu roared at the sky. His eyes were filled with madness. His hair erupted like streaks of light as he radiated with an extremely terrifying presence. Boom. A powerful life force gushed out from Lu Wu's body, causing his injuries to heal rapidly. His aura also began to soar. Lu Wu's eyes actually turned gold and silver. A golden divine sun flew out from one of his eyes, and a silver full moon flew out from the other. They intertwined and spun like a yin and yang taiji diagram, bursting with boundless killing intent, as they shot towards Ling Xiao at an extremely fast speed. What? Everyone shuddered. They originally thought that Lu Wu was definitely going to lose, but they never thought that Lu Wu would actually counterattack. What kind of eye technique is that? It seems like it can suck in a person's soul? Someone said with a trembling voice. Disbelief filled their eyes. Chaotic mist rose up in the air. Lu Wu's eyes were extremely strange. They seemed like the eyes of an ancient demon god. They wanted to take away a person's life and dictate their life and death. Ling Xiao's eyes widened as well. He sensed a great threat. Without even thinking about it, he directly used a secret technique of movement. With a flash of light, he directly moved over 10,000 meters away, dodging the resplendent streak of light. Rumble. Where Ling Xiao had originally been, a towering mountain was instantly reduced to nothingness by that beam of divine light. Moreover, the danger did not vanish. The golden sun and silver moon intertwined like the light of ascension. They shone with boundless brilliance as they continued to shoot towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao used a secret technique of movement. He moved around as golden light revolved around him. He swept across the sky, but the streak of light still pursued him closely. Break! A God King artifact sword appeared in Ling Xiao's hand, and it immediately flew towards the streak of light. At the same time, Ling Xiao directly detonated it. Rumble! The explosion of a God King artifact was like the explosion of a God King. It immediately turned into a scorching storm, sweeping away the streak of light and destroying it at the same time. Long Out Yin, you must die. No one can save you today. Lu Wu's voice was extremely cold. Chaotic chi poured out of his eyes as he blinked, causing the sky to change color. A ray of seven-colored light shot out from his eyes, silently shooting towards Ling Xiao's forehead. The seven-colored divine light did not cause any disturbance, but it seemed to be able to destroy one's primordial spirit and destroy all life. This is the seven souls dispersing light? Ling Xiao's eyes narrowed. Lu Wu actually used the seven soul dispersing light. This was the innate ability of the heavenly devil race. It was terrifying to the extreme. Even Ling Xiao was helpless against it. And it was precisely because of it that Jin Se lost her past memories. You really are the evil spawn of the demon race. Ling Xiao's voice was as cold as steel, and his eyes were filled with killing intent as he looked at Lu Wu. Whoosh! The seven souls dispersing soul light shot straight into Ling Xiao's forehead. It was so fast that no one could block it. When he used the seven souls dispersing soul light, Lu Wu even used a secret technique to distort space, so no one could see what the seven souls dispersing soul light was. Everyone only saw a beautiful explosion of light, and Ling Xiao's forehead was hit. Ling Xiao did not dodge, because he did not need to. Boom. The seven souls dispersing soul light entered Ling Xiao's forehead, but before it could explode, it was swallowed by the wordless heavenly tome. Lu Wu's eyes were filled with a cold smile. He believed that even a divine king would die under the seven souls dispersing soul light, let alone Ling Xiao. As long as Ling Xiao died, he did not need to take that final step. He could completely replace Ling Xiao's position. However, the smile on Lu Wu's face quickly froze. Ling Xiao's eyes were still clear. He looked at Lu Wu indifferently, and there was even a hint of mockery in his eyes. After the seven souls dispersing soul light entered between Ling Xiao's eyebrows, it was like a clay ox entering the sea, disappearing without a trace. How is this possible? How can you block the seven souls dispersing soul light? That's impossible. Lu Wu went completely crazy, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. That was the seven souls dispersing soul light, the most powerful gift of the Heavenly Fiend clan. In order to kill Ling Xiao, Lu Wu did not hesitate to ask that big shot to increase the power of the seven souls dispersing soul light. According to that big shot, not to mention Ling Xiao, even someone at the peak of the Divine King realm would die without a doubt. However, Lu Wu did not expect that Ling Xiao would have such a heaven-defying treasure like the wordless heavenly tome. The seven souls dispersing soul light was simply a gift to him. Nothing is impossible. Lu Wu, it seems that I was right. You are indeed an evil creature of the demon clan. The seven souls dispersing soul light, TSK, and the gift of the Heavenly Fiend clan. I am very curious now. Are you a spy planted by the Heavenly Fiend clan in Ares College? Or have you voluntarily surrendered to the demon clan and abandoned your human bloodline? Ling Xiao smiled coldly, and the murderous intent in his eyes seemed to materialize. Ling Xiao's words directly penetrated the enchantment of the deity battle arena and reached the ears of everyone in Ares College. What? As soon as Ling Xiao finished speaking, everyone was instantly dumbfounded. Lu Wu was actually from the demon clan? How could this be? The seven souls dispersing soul light. It seems that he is an evil remnant of the demon clan. Elders, follow me to kill this evil creature. Tong Yuan's body shook violently, and his eyes were filled with shock and anger. In an instant, he leaped into the sky and pounced towards the deity battle arena. Rumble. The heavens and earth shook violently. With Tong Yuan as the leader, Han Li Lufeng, and the other deity kings, as well as the other deity kings, leaped into the sky, exuding an incomparably terrifying aura. The enchantment of the deity battle arena shattered, and Ling Xiao and Lu Wu appeared in front of everyone. Lu Wu was also targeted by Tong Yuan and the others, ready to unleash a killing blow at any time. With Tong Yuan and Han Li's knowledge, they naturally recognized the seven souls dispersing soul light. Previously, they were still a little doubtful, but after hearing Ling Xiao's words, they no longer had any doubts and immediately attacked with incomparable decisiveness. In fact, Tong Yuan was incomparably glad that Lu Wu had been exposed. Otherwise, with Lu Wu's talent, if he had entered the combat god temple, the destruction and influence that he would have caused would have been immeasurable. Over the years, there had been a few cases of spies from the demon clan infiltrating the realm of the gods. The most sensational one was millions of years ago, when a peerless genius from the demon clan actually infiltrated the Samsara temple, and even became a sage in the realm of the gods. If not for the fact that he was discovered by the Samsara temple's sect treasure, he might have been able to continue hiding. However, that demon sage had also caused great destruction. After successfully escaping from the Samsara temple, he had killed countless people in the realm of the gods, and had caused a boundless amount of bloodshed. In the end, the sages from the 12 Holy Lands joined forces to kill him, and only when his soul was destroyed did it finally come to an end. Who would have thought that Ares College was also hiding a demon remnant? Chapter 1451. Long Outyin. How did you find out that I am a demon? Lu Wu stared at Ling Xiao and asked coldly, as if he did not see Tong Yuan and the others. From Ling Xiao's words, he could tell that Ling Xiao had probably already discovered his identity as a demon long ago. It's simple. In the God-Devil space, I killed a genius of the Heavenly Devil clan, Wuxia, as well as a demon god king. I'm quite sensitive to the aura of the Heavenly Devil clan, so when I fought with you 2 months ago, I already knew something was wrong. But at that time, I was not completely sure. Until today, when you tried to kill me with the 7-soul dispersal light, I was finally sure that you are a demon. Ling Xiao said indifferently, his expression incomparably calm. In fact, Ling Xiao did not sense Lu Wu's aura. Lu Wu hid it too well, but Ling Xiao used the incomplete secret technique of fate and the wordless heavenly book to sense that something was wrong with Lu Wu. So he kept an eye on him. Who would have thought? So many years of hard work have been ruined in a single day. Long Outyin, you really deserve to die. But I still have a question. My 7-soul dispersal light is something that even a peak divine king could not resist. How did you come out unscathed? Lu Wu stared fixedly at Ling Xiao. This was the most puzzling thing in his heart. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, I have already answered one of your questions, so you should answer one of mine. Are you a demon or a human who has surrendered to the demon race? After hearing Ling Xiao's question, Lu Wu fell silent for a moment. His eyes revealed a trace of struggle and complexity. He slowly said, 10 years ago, I was still a human. Ling Xiao nodded. He already understood. Something must have happened to Lu Wu 10 years ago that made him decide to abandon his human identity and surrender to the demon race. Although Tong Yuan's expression was still cold, he was relieved in his heart. Luckily, Lu Wu was a human who had defected to the demon race. Otherwise, if he had been a demon race remnant from the start and had entered Ares College without being discovered after so many years, then Tong Yuan would have really been punished by the War God Temple. At the very least, it would have been hard to absolve himself of the blame. However, there was still room to salvage the situation. As long as Lu Wu was captured, it would be even better if he could interrogate a few more demons. Many disciples of Ares College were also in an uproar. Lu Wu surrendered to the demon race 10 years ago? Damn it! Such a person is one of the 9 kings of Ares College? We must kill him and avenge our brothers who died at the hands of the demon race. It's all thanks to Long Outyin. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to discover his true identity. That's too scary. The disciples were all filled was a lingering fear, still lingering fear. There was actually a scum who had defected to the demon race by his side. Anyone would feel scared in their heart. Who knows when Lu Wu would kill him? At this moment, Lu Wenqing had a dazed expression on his face. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Clearly, he didn't know that his big brother had actually defected to the devil race. Lu was not was that the demon was Wu was the was that? Lu Wenqing did not resist. At this moment, his heart was like dead ashes. Now can you tell me how you neutralized the 7-soul dispersal light? Lu Wu did not seem to have given up on this question, and asked Ling Xiao again. Ling Xiao did not answer him directly. Instead he smiled faintly, and a strange look appeared in his eyes. Lu Wu, the dean and the elders have already locked onto you. Logically speaking, you should be dead for sure. But seeing how relaxed you look, I'm afraid you still have a trump card, right? Let me guess what your trump card is. Did you open the path to the demon realm and allow the demon race to descend? Or do you have a treasure that allows you to escape? Or do you have other tricks up your sleeves? Ling Xiao's words caused Tong Yuan, Han Li, and the rest to change their expressions. They had also noticed this. Lu Wu was too calm. He was so calm that it made their hair stand on end. Either Lu Wu was an idiot, or Lu Wu had a trump card. Regardless of which of the possibilities Ling Xiao mentioned, it was highly likely that the entire Ares College would fall into a state of eternal damnation. Kill him! Tong Yuan roared. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. An ancient golden sword appeared in his hand and slashed down at Lu Wu. Rumble! Vast holy light filled the air, causing the sky to tremble violently. This sword seemed to be able to wipe out everything. Holy treasure, a flawless holy treasure. As the dean of Ares College, the ancient golden sword in Tong Yuan's hand was a flawless holy treasure with unparalleled power. Lu Wu was about to be killed by this sword. Rumble! At this moment, Lu Wu's body suddenly emitted an extremely terrifying and monstrous aura. Rays of black demonic light soared as his black hair fluttered in the wind. His expression was cold, and his eyes were filled with disdain and cruelty. His entire aura had greatly changed. Lu Wu slashed down with his palm. Suddenly, there was a surge of heaven and earth energy. An invisible blade of light slashed down on the ancient golden sword. Rumble. Unparalleled holy light exploded. The ancient sword in Tong Yuan's hand buzzed and was sent flying. Lu Wu's figure flashed. His speed was extremely fast. He dodged Han Li and the rest's attack, and appeared on a mountain peak tens of thousands of feet away. Ah! Long Outyin, you are indeed very smart. I am getting more and more curious about you. But even if you guessed it, so what? Today not only you, but the entire Ares College will be buried with you. Lu Wu laughed loudly. His voice was like thunder that shook the void. His eyes became incomparably cold, and his entire body emitted a monstrous demonic light. Moreover, strands of holy radiance spread out, making him look like an invincible demon saint. He emitted an aura that made people tremble all over. Have you really made up your mind? An old voice sounded in Lu Wu's mind. I have. In order to survive, so what if I have to betray the human race? What does the destruction of heaven and earth have to do with me? I will lend you this body. I only want Long Outyin and the lives of everyone in Ares College. Lu Wu replied in a somewhat deranged manner. As you wish. The old voice sounded. Following that, Lu Wu felt a mysterious force enter his body and completely take over his body. His aura also increased rapidly. Soon it reached an unfathomable level, causing the heaven and earth to tremble violently. The great existence in Lu Wu's body had taken over his body. You are not Lu Wu. Who are you? Ling Zhao's body trembled. His eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. He could see that Lu Wu's aura had changed greatly. His entire person had become extremely arrogant and majestic. His eyes were filled with cruelty and madness. His aura had far surpassed Tong Yuan's and Han Li's. It was as if an ancient demon emperor had awakened. Everyone's heart trembled. Chapter 1452. I'm Bo Yu. Little brat, I'm afraid you don't recognize me. 1,000,000 years have passed and I'm back. This time, let's celebrate my return with the flesh and blood of everyone in Ares College. Lu Wu glanced at Ling Zhao emotionlessly, and said with some emotion. His eyes were indifferent and deep, as if he could see through people's hearts. The aura he exuded made Ling Zhao feel extremely threatened. You are Demon Saint Bo Yu. How is this possible? Didn't your soul completely disperse? Hearing Lu Wu's words, Tong Yuan's body shook violently. He seemed to have thought of something, and his face was filled with horror. Demon Saint Bo Yu is the traitor of the Samsara Temple 1,000,000 years ago. The one who caused all the bloodshed. Han Li and the other elders from Ares College also had a change in expression. Their eyes were filled with shock. This was a peerless, ruthless person 1,000,000 years ago. Who would have thought that he was still alive and had attached himself to Lu Wu's body? Thinking of this, everyone's hair stood on end. Demon Saint Bo Yu? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He had found information about Demon Saint Bo Yu from the Scarlet Dragon War God's memories. He was a figure from the same era as the Scarlet Dragon War God, a peerless genius of the Samsara Temple. However, it was later discovered that he was a spy of the demon tribe. After betraying the Samsara Temple, he caused a huge amount of bloodshed. In the end, he was besieged by the saints of the 12 Holy Lands, and his soul was completely destroyed. No one would have thought that he was still alive. My soul was destroyed. Ha ha ha. Do you think that trash can kill me? The 12 Holy Lands. I will destroy them one by one. The War God Temple will be the first. Demon Saint Bo Yu laughed out loud, his eyes filled with killing intent that soared to the heavens. 1,000,000 years ago he was seriously injured. His physical body was destroyed, and his soul was almost destroyed. If he had not used a secret technique to fake his death, he would not have survived. In the past 1,000,000 years, Demon Saint Bo Yu had almost died in order to recover his strength. 10 years ago in a secret realm, he saved Lu Wu and persuaded Lu Wu to betray the human tribe and implant the heavenly demon tribe's bloodline in him. Demon Saint Bo Yu. So what if you're not dead? I'm afraid you don't even have the battle prowess of a devil saint anymore, right? As long as you're not a sage, you'll definitely die today. Hanli stared coldly at Demon Saint Boyu and said slowly, "That's right. Dean, let's attack together and kill him." The other vice principals and elders also regained their senses at this moment. Their fighting spirit suppressed the fear in their hearts. After all, Demon Sage Boyu was probably just a primordial spirit now. Even if he was attached to Lu Wu, he could not burst out with too much strength. How ignorant. Since you're so eager to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Demon Saint Boyu's eyes flashed with disdain. Rumble. His body flashed, and he instantly turned into a beam of blazing demonic light. His speed was extremely fast, and he appeared directly behind one of the vice presidents. Then he reached out to grab him. Puff. The vice principal was unable to resist at all. A huge bloody hole appeared in his chest, and his heart was pulled out by Demon Saint Boyu. His entire body trembled, and he let out a miserable cry. Boom. His entire body exploded into a cloud of blood mist, which was then devoured by Demon Saint Boyu. This made Demon Saint Boyu's aura become even stronger. The first one. The flesh and blood of the human race is really delicious. Demon Saint Boyu sneered. Damn it. Killing intent flashed in Hanli's eyes. A dragon-shaped battle saber appeared in his hand, and he slashed it at Demon Saint Boyu. Rumble. Tong Yuan's divine power surged as he activated Ares College's protective array. Above the 9 heavens, streaks of lightning intertwined as a terrifying murderous aura permeated the air. The surrounding mountains trembled violently as dozens of divine light pillars shot up into the clouds, forming a mysterious enchantment that trapped Boyu the Great Devil. Demon Saint Boyu, you really don't know what's good for you. At this moment, an old voice sounded. Swoosh. Swoosh. 2 figures flew over from the void, exuding extremely powerful auras. Their hair and beards were all white, and they had the demeanor of a transcendent being. They were none other than Elder Wu Chang and Elder Tai Tai. Void Pierce Stage? Chonghe? You guys really showed up. However, you guys only have the combat power of a half-sage. Instead of hiding and waiting for death, you actually dare to show up? Demon Saint Boyu sneered, as if he was not surprised at all. He had possessed Lu Wu's body for so many years. Naturally, he knew Ares College very well. The true strength of Elder Wu Chang and Elder Tai Tai could not be hidden from him. Old bones like us naturally do not have the combat power we had in the past. However, you are only left with the body of your primordial spirit. So what if you have taken over Lu Wu's body? Ares College is not a place where you can behave atrociously. Elder Tai Tai said indifferently, and a trace of cold killing intent rose in his eyes. Rumble. Powerful and vast energy burst out from the elder on the arena, and the elder on the martial arts platform. It was as if the laws of heaven and earth had gathered on their bodies, making their auras incomparably mysterious. Rays of holy light permeated the air, making them look holy and powerful. The 2 of them locked onto Demon Saint Boyu, and a terrifying killing intent burst out from them. It was as if Demon Saint Boyu made the slightest move, they would launch a thunderous attack. At this moment, the 2 of them were somewhat impressed by Ling Xiao. Previously, it was Ling Xiao who had discovered that something was wrong with Lu Wu and told them. That was why they had been able to appear in time. Otherwise, Ares College would have been flooded with blood. Hee, you guys still don't know when death is at hand. Fine, today I will let you die with a clear understanding. Blood demon, explode for me. Demon Saint Boyu's expression was incomparably cold, and his eyes were filled with cruel killing intent. He abruptly roared. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, among the people of Ares College, dozens of blood-red lights shot up into the sky. Evil and terrifying demonic light shrouded the entire sky. One by one, the disciples of Ares College suddenly exploded. Crimson blood demons emanated from their bodies, exuding a terrifying aura as they flew towards Demon Saint Boyu. At this moment, Lu Wenqing and Lu Yan's bodies exploded as well. It was as if some kind of power had awakened in their bodies, and directly swallowed their primordial spirits, transforming them into blood demons. Most importantly, It was not just the ordinary disciples who had been transformed into blood demons. Deputy Dean Lu Feng was trembling all over. Streaks of blood-red light dissipated, and his eyes were filled with horror. He suddenly shouted, "Dean, save me!" Unfortunately, no one could save him. Just as his voice fell, his entire body exploded into a bloody mist. A blood-red demonic shadow flew out, exuding a terrifying aura. Chapter 1453. Rumble. Heaven and earth trembled as Demon Saint Boyu stood in the air, his body emitting a monstrous demonic light. Streams of blood qi gathered from all directions, forming a vast sea of blood behind him. Hundreds of disciples and elders in Ares College exploded at the same time, turning into blood demons, whizzing towards Demon Saint Boyu. As the blood light surged over, Demon Saint Boyu's aura became even more terrifying. Demon Saint Boyu, you're courting death. The Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder were completely enraged, their eyes filled with murderous intent. The eyes of Tong Yuan, Han Li, and the rest were bloodshot. Their eyes were burning with rage. These were all disciples of Ares College. Who would have thought that they would be implanted with demonic seeds by Boyu Demon Sage? At this moment, all of them had become the source of power for Boyu Demon Sage. Other than the disciples of Ares College, there were 3 Divine King Realm Elders who were also affected. Their blood vessels exploded as well, and they died tragically. No one had expected Demon Saint Boyu to not only hide in Lu Wu's body, but also plant so many pawns in Ares College. Losing so many disciples and elders in such a short period of time caused Tong Yuan and the others' faces to turn even uglier. Kill him. The Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder's eyes burned with murderous intent as they attacked instantly. They could feel Demon Saint Boyu's aura rising rapidly. If this continued, there would be unimaginable consequences. Rumble. The Battle Elder punched out. His fist was simple and unadorned, but it was extremely ferocious. It was like a resplendent sun exploding, containing unparalleled divine power. As the fist intent surged, it formed a vast fist Dao realm, suppressing Demon Saint Boyu. Buzz! An ancient sword appeared in Wuzong Elder's hand. The sound of the sword was crisp and clear, vibrating slightly in the void. As the sword vibrated, rings formed, as though they were the birth and destruction of worlds. They looked ethereal, but they contained an extremely pure sword intent. Holy Dao Realm. Is this the Holy Dao Realm? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He could see that whether it was the martial arts elder's field of fist or martial arts elder's field of sword, it was as if they had opened up a new world around them, erupting with extremely terrifying power. If he continued to transform like this, there would come a day when his Saint Path domain would be able to interfere with this part of the world, and even dominate the operation of the laws. He would become one with the world, and his words would become law. That would be the Supreme Sage Realm. If one were to say that Supreme Dao experts were like fish in the ocean, they were familiar with the water, understood the power of water, and could even borrow the power of water to swim and possess extremely fast speed. That half-saint expert was like a divine dragon that could overturn rivers and seas. He could summon the wind and rain, and his martial arts were psychic. As for true saints, they were like emperors who controlled the entire ocean. A word from them was the law of the world. A thought from them could shock the world and destroy all living things. Seeing the Arena Elder and Wuchang Elder make their moves, Ling Xiao had a clearer understanding of the road ahead. Void Pierce Stage Chonghe. If the 2 of you were still saints, I would naturally turn around and leave. However, the 2 of you have already fallen to the half-saint realm. I'm afraid the strength of the 5th revolution or the 6th revolution at most, right? You really don't know what death is. Devil Saint Boyu sneered. His eyes were filled with coldness. Rumble. The sea of blood behind him rose. A huge blood-red fist mark soared into the sky. Blood light surged and blood devils wailed. It was as if this part of heaven and earth had turned into the world of blood devils. The blood-red fist mark seemed to be able to confuse people's minds. It set off a monstrous blood-red light and instantly collided with the Arena Elder, dyeing the domain of the Tao of Fist red. Crack. Light exploded in the void. All the fist lights that filled the sky were devoured by the sea of blood. The expression of the Arena Elder changed slightly. His arm trembled violently and he could not help but retreat. Asterisk clang. Asterisk Devil Saint Boyu's eyes were cold and indifferent. With a flick of his finger, a beam of blood-red light pierced through the void and shot directly at the ancient sword in Wu Chang Elder's hand. Instantly, the sword light became dazzling. Wu Chang Elder's body trembled, and the sacred sword in his hand almost flew out of his hand. Nether Blood Devil Dao. Devil Saint Boyu shouted. Immediately, endless blood-red light gushed out from his body. Rumble. It was as if a blood moon had exploded. Endless blood-red light swept down from the void and rushed towards the disciples and elders of Ares College. Not good. The expressions of the arena elder and Wu Chang Elder changed. Holy light rose from their bodies and formed a dazzling barrier of light, blocking the blood-red light that filled the sky. Tong Yuan and Hanli both spat out mouthfuls of blood. Runes fell on the ground in all directions. Ares College's protective array had completely exploded. Asterisk roar. Asterisk roar. Roar. Dozens of dragon roars reverberated through the sky. Among the dozens of mountains surrounding Ares College, a golden divine dragon rose from each mountain. A total of 81 divine dragons gathered in the sky, forming a vast array of enchantments that protected everyone. This was the 9-dragon divine array. Its power was unparalleled. Legend had it that it could even kill a half-saint and block the attack of a saint. But Tong Yuan and Hanli still did not dare to let down their guard. The Nether Blood Devil Dao was an extremely terrifying sacred path superpower in the devil world. It was incomparably murderous and could pollute everything. Any living creature that came into contact with the Blood Devil would become a part of the Blood Devil. It was extremely terrifying. Legend had it that in ancient times, there was a Blood Devil Saint who used the Nether Blood Devil Dao to refine billions of living creatures. He set off a monstrous massacre and almost became an emperor. Devil Saint Boyu had obtained the inheritance of the Nether Blood Devil Dao. That was why he had caused such a terrifying massacre a million years ago. Rumble. Endless blood-red light gushed out. It contained an evil, terrifying, and ancient aura, causing the surrounding void to violently tremble. The arena elder and martial secret elder's bodies shook violently as they were swept back. In the end, the boundless sea of blood collided with the 9-9 divine dragon formation. Endless symbols exploded, and cracks appeared in the sky all around. It was terrifying to the extreme. Isn't this Devil Saint Boyu only left with his primordial spirit? Even if he is attached to Lu Wu's body, how can he be so strong? Someone said, trembling. His eyes were filled with disbelief. Elder Arena and Elder Wuzong were both half-step saints. Even with the protection of the mountain, they were still unable to suppress Demon Saint Boyu. His demonic power is unparalleled. Devil Saint Boyu is indeed an unparalleled demon from a million years ago. Many of the Ares College's disciples were perturbed. Chapter 1454. This demon sage Boyu's battle prowess has probably reached the level of a 9th transformation half-saint. No wonder the Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder were unable to suppress him. He is indeed an unparalleled demon. Ling Xiao sighed softly in his heart, and his eyes lit up. The demon sage Boyu was only in the form of a primordial spirit. After occupying Lu Wu's body, he was able to unleash such terrifying battle prowess. One could only imagine how powerful he must have been a million years ago. I hope the sages of the War God Temple can make it in time. Ling Xiao thought to himself. When he had told the Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder about this matter, he had never thought that Lu Wu's body would be possessed by an unparalleled demon. However, the mountain protecting array of Ares College had been completely activated. Tong Yuan must have sent the news to the War God Temple and learned about the demon sage Boyu. A sage would definitely descend. However, he did not know if the sage would be able to make it in time. After all, Ling Xiao saw that the Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder were already at a disadvantage. Rumble. Boundless blood-red light soared and collided with the 9-dragon divine formation. Blood demons rushed out of the sea of blood fearlessly and collided with the golden dragons before exploding. An evil, cold, and terrifying power began to spread towards the 9 dragons' divine array. The blood sea seemed to be trying to assimilate the mountain protecting array. Break. Tong Yuan, Han Li, and the other elders were also giving it their all. They poured their divine power into the mountain-protecting array and burned their blood essence at the same time, pushing the power of the 9 dragons' divine array to the maximum. Kill! The Battle Elder and Wuzong Elder's eyes were filled with murderous intent as they launched terrifying attacks towards the demon sage Boyu. Boom! 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 The battle between the 3 of them was too terrifying. As their auras intertwined, the void and the earth trembled. Several huge mountains were instantly reduced to dust. If not for the protection of the 9 dragons' divine array, the entire Ares College would have been destroyed by the shockwaves of the battle. You overestimate yourself. Demon Saint Boyu's voice was incomparably cold. Every strike of his contained the boundless power of heaven and earth. The blood-red light contained the power to devour everything, causing the arena elder and Elder Wuchang to be extremely fearful. Rumble. After another fierce collision, Demon Saint Boyu forced Elder Wuchang and Elder Wuchang to retreat. Then he turned into a streak of bloody light and punched at the 9-dragon divine array. Not good. Tong Yuan's expression changed as he began to channel his divine power into the sword. The Boyu Demon Saint was giving him too much pressure. If the 9-dragon godly array had gone all out to attack the Boyu Demon Saint, he might have been able to suppress him. But now, Tong Yuan was holding back. He did not dare to release the power of the 9-dragon godly array. He had to protect all the students of Ares College. The result of passively defending was that one could only be suppressed and beaten up like a live target. Crack! The terrifying blood-red fist landed on the 9-dragon godly array, causing a blazing divine light. Runes exploded one after another, and the array seemed to have reached its limit, and was beginning to collapse. No. If this continues, the 9-dragon godly array will be broken. I'm afraid that before reinforcements arrive, everyone will die. I have to think of a way. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he thought to himself. At this moment, Demon Saint Boyu was standing in an endless sea of blood. Blood demons surrounded him, constantly providing him with great power. Demon Saint Boyu's eyes were cold, and his face was filled with cruel killing intent. There was an extremely terrifying aura around him. It was as if he had been suppressed for millions of years, causing endless resentment to accumulate in his heart. He urgently needed to vent it through blood and slaughter. Demon Saint Boyu's nether blood demon path is actually activated by his physical body. If he is only left with his primordial spirit, he will not be able to activate the nether blood demon path. It seems that Lu Wu's physical body is a flaw. As long as I can destroy Lu Wu's physical body, Demon Saint Boyu will not be able to do much with his primordial spirit. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Demon Saint Boyu had temporarily taken over Lu Wu's physical body. Naturally, there were many flaws, but it was not as if the others did not know this. Even the arena elder and Elder Wuzong could not get close to Demon Saint Boyu's body. Therefore, it was difficult to make a fuss about it. Lu Wu's physical body is not strong. As long as I can get close to Demon Saint Boyu, with the strength of my physical body and the power of the Xian Kuan sword, I should be able to take Lu Wu's physical body by surprise. At that time, even if he hastily forms a new physical body, his strength will definitely drop by a lot. A crazed look appeared in Ling Zhao's eyes as an extremely bold idea popped up in his mind. That was to kill Demon Saint Boyu. Although this idea seemed crazy, Ling Xiao had the heaven-shrouding secret technique. As long as he could find an opportunity, even Demon Saint Boyu would not be able to find him. Ling Zhao's physical body was not as strong as a Big Dipper, and even the arena elder and Elder Wuzong could not compare. The most difficult thing now was that even if Ling Xiao could take Lu Wu's physical body, how could he escape from the furious Demon Saint Boyu? This was probably an unsolvable answer. However, Ling Xiao still decided to give it a try. I will use the wordless heavenly book to protect my primordial spirit, the golden warrior to protect my physical body, the good fortune jade disc, and the heaven-devouring secret technique to devour the blood demon. I still have a few hundred divine talismans. If I use them well, I will have no problem keeping myself alive. Ling Xiao made up his mind in an instant. The Battle Elder and Elder Wuzong had been completely suppressed. The 9-dragon godly array was also in imminent danger. If this continued, Once the 9-dragon godly array was broken, the disciples and elders of Ares College would become nourishment for the devil Saint Boyu. At that time, everyone would die in the hands of the devil Saint Boyu. He had to fight to the death. Rumble. At this moment, Demon Saint Boyu forced the arena elder and Elder Wuzong to retreat once again. Endless demonic light burst out, and a terrifying fist print covered the sky and the sun. It was like a blood-red demonic mountain, terrifying to the extreme as it slammed into the 9-dragon divine array. Cut. A divine light exploded, and the runes shattered one after another. The huge array formation enchantment emitted a crisp sound, and a crack appeared on it. Whoosh. 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 Demon Saint Boyu's eyes glinted sharply. In an instant, over 100 blood fiends rushed in through the crack in the array barrier, roaring. Chapter 1455. Roar. The blood demons emitted a demonic light that filled the sky, and the smell of blood filled the air. Their faces were ferocious, and their eyes were filled with cruel and bloodthirsty killing intent. They crazily pounced on the Ares College disciples. Oh no! Kill those blood demons! Tong Yuan's expression changed drastically. He tried his best to activate the 9-dragon divine array to repair the broken cracks as he shouted. These blood demons were extremely terrifying. They had the combat power of a divine king, and they were extremely fast. In an instant, they caused great damage to the disciples. Many disciples who were below the divine king realm were devoured by the blood demons, and they were turned into dried corpses. Screams of agony filled the air, and a huge commotion broke out among the disciples. Boom! Tiangang was the first to attack. He threw a punch, and the blood energy around him surged. His fist turned into a dazzling flash of lightning, and it shrouded the blood demons. 5 Thunder Heavenly Star Technique. Although these blood demons were evil and powerful, they were afraid of lightning, just like the other demons. Therefore, the 5 Thunder Heavenly Star Technique was the best technique to deal with them. Tiangang's strength was already extremely strong, even stronger than an ordinary Divine King expert. Therefore, the lightning bolts that contained an incomparably strong destructive force instantly engulfed the blood devils and turned them into ashes. Edited by Lifer Fingerfox Swoosh. Blazing Heavenly King Lu Zhengfeng also made his move. A crimson sky halberd appeared in his hand and slashed down. The blazing sky halberd technique exploded, and a vast sea of fire erupted. It directly enveloped the 2 blood demons and began to refine them. Xing. Zhou Daoji's long sword shone brightly, and the sword chi spread out for 30,000 miles. It cut the 2 blood demons in half, and then he threw out a palm strike, and a few lightning bolts intertwined, completely destroying the blood demons. Other than the 9 great kings, the other vice principals and elders of Ares College had also made their moves. One by one, they charged towards the blood devils. However, even though their attacks were not slow, they could not match the speed of the blood devils' massacre. In just a few moments, hundreds of Ares College disciples had been devoured by the blood devil. Tong Yuan's heart ached. These were the seeds of Ares College. Every one of them was an outstanding genius. It was a pity that they had been killed by the blood demon before they could even mature. Rumble. In the end, the remaining dozen or so blood devils seemed to have devoured enough flesh and blood, and instantly rushed out of the array. Good chance. A sharp glint flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes. In an instant, a blood-red light flashed around his body, and he silently turned into a blood demon. He directly gathered towards the dozen blood demons. The heaven-shrouding secret technique was activated, and Ling Xiao became exactly like blood demon. Whether it was his appearance, his blood-colored energy, or even his spirituality, he was no different from blood demon. Just like that, Ling Xiao instantly merged with the blood demons. The blood demons didn't notice anything different about Ling Xiao. In such a chaotic situation, no one noticed Ling Xiao's little trick. Moreover, with the cover of the 9-dragon divine array, no matter how strong Demon Saint Boyu's spiritual sense was, he didn't notice anything strange. Rumble. At this moment, Demon Saint Boyu threw another punch. Another crack appeared in the 9-dragon divine array, and Ling Xiao and the other blood demons were drawn out. At the same time, more blood demons rushed in from the outside. Damn it! The elder on the arena and Elder Wuzong were completely enraged. Their eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. At the same time, they unleashed their terrifying Saint Path realms and joined forces to attack Demon Saint Boyu. Every attack seemed to be able to destroy the heavens and earth. It's useless. All of you will be my food. Demon Saint Boyu sneered. Two blood-colored fist prints blasted out. Like a blood-colored divine light, they pierced through the 9 heavens and forced the elder on the arena and Elder Wuzong to retreat. The dozen or so blood demons were like dragons entering the sea, and they all gathered towards Demon Saint Boyu's body. The blood demon that Ling Xiao had transformed into was the last one. He could feel that the dozen or so blood demons contained extremely pure blood qi. After they merged into Demon Saint Boyu's body, Demon Saint Boyu's aura became even stronger. Demon Saint Boyu suddenly had a bad feeling. It was as if some unknown danger was approaching. He instantly became extremely alert. At this moment, the other dozen or so blood demons had already been devoured by Demon Saint Boyu. The blood demon that Ling Xiao had transformed into had also arrived beside Demon Saint Boyu. Now's the time. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly. The Xiankuan sword shone with boundless divine light and instantly appeared in the void. It was infused with Ling Xiao's terrifying divine power as it stabbed towards Demon Saint Boyu. Ling Xiao's speed was too fast. For this sword he even used the power of time, which made the sword almost surpass the limits of space and time. With a flash of sword light, he had already stabbed into Demon Saint Boyu's body. This was also the reason why Demon Sage Boyu didn't suspect him at all. After all, the dozen or so blood demons were split from Demon Sage Boyu's body. Although he sensed danger, he was also vigilant in other places. Therefore, Demon Saint Boyu did not expect Ling Xiao to turn into a blood demon and appear beside him in such a way. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had launched a fatal attack on him. Boom! The Xiankuan sword was originally a flawless sacred treasure left behind by Saint Xuanwu. It contained extremely terrifying divine power. At this moment, it was completely activated by Ling Xiao. The terrifying sword qi directly exploded within Demon Saint Boyu's body. Speaking of which, this was only Lu Wu's physical body. Even if it was temporarily strengthened by Demon Saint Boyu, it was still extremely weak. Under the full power of the Xiankuan sword, Lu Wu's physical body suddenly exploded. Rumble. However, this was only the beginning. In order to ensure that nothing would go wrong, Ling Xiao also detonated the hundreds of divine talismans he had prepared beforehand. It was as if hundreds of heavenly gods and divine kings had self-detonated. The terrifying divine light intertwined with each other and caused a qualitative change. In an instant, a terrifying divine light storm was set off. Lu Wu's physical body was cut into pieces by the Xiankuan sword, and then swept away by the power of the hundreds of divine talismans, instantly turning into nothingness. Even if Demon Saint Boyu wanted to repair it, it was impossible. Retreat. Ling Xiao did not have the slightest hint of joy. On the contrary, he felt a great sense of danger descending upon him, causing his hair to stand on end. Chapter 1456. Demon Saint Boyu had been too careless. If Demon Saint Boyu had diverted his attention to the blood demon, Ling Xiao would not have been able to kill him so easily. Demon Saint Boyu naturally trusted the blood demon he had created, but ultimately, it was because the heaven-shrouding secret technique was too mysterious. The heaven-shrouding secret skill had concealed Ling Xiao's aura, bloodline, and even primordial spirit, making him look exactly like the blood demon. He had even deceived Demon Saint Boyu's perception. It should be known that if the heaven-shrouding secret skill was cultivated to the great completion realm, it could even deceive the perception of a sage. Although Ling Xiao had just learned the skill, it was still easy for him to deceive the perception of a sage to be. Therefore, when all these factors were added together, Devil Sage Boyu was in for a tragedy. Lu Wu's body was the foundation of his nether blood demon way. Without Lu Wu's body, even if he could condense another body in a short time, his strength would be greatly reduced. Therefore, it could be said that Demon Saint Boyu hated Ling Xiao to the extreme. Everyone was stunned. Am I seeing things? That guy is Long Out Tian? He actually destroyed Demon Saint Boyu's body. Someone exclaimed, his voice trembling uncontrollably. That's right. It's Long Outyin. He's really audacious. Fortunately, we have him. If not for him, I'm afraid all of us would have died in the hands of Demon Saint Boyu. A disciple from Ares College said with a complicated look. Long Outyin is too fierce. He's even more powerful than senior brother. I've already decided that from now on, I'll submit to no one but Long Outyin. But don't forget, he destroyed Demon Saint Boyu's body. Can he really escape? Everyone began to worry. No matter how talented Ling Xiao was, his cultivation was only at the complete divine realm. Demon Saint Boyu was a true sage expert. Even if he was only left with his primordial spirit, he still had the battle strength of a sage to be. Even a divine king expert would die without a doubt, let alone Ling Xiao. Although everyone was grateful to Ling Xiao, they all felt that Ling Xiao was doomed. Long Outyin, you deserve to die. Demon Saint Boyu bellowed. His figure appeared in the void. It was a somewhat demonic figure of a young man, but his face was filled with incomparably twisted and frenzied killing intent. Rumble. The sky trembled as a vast nomological force pressed down from all directions. Ling Xiao originally wanted to escape, but he was instantly fixed in the void by that vast nomological force. Demon Saint Boyu's eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. Although he was only left with his soul, the power of a demon saint could not be described by common sense. Two cold rays of light shot out from his eyes, instantly piercing towards Ling Xiao's forehead. Since you've destroyed my physical body, I'll use your physical body to make up for it. A cold voice sounded. The two beams of divine light contained the vast power of Bo Yu's primordial spirit. They wanted to wipe out Ling Xiao's primordial spirit and take over his body. It had to be said that Demon Saint Boyu was extremely decisive. If he had really taken over Ling Xiao's body, with Ling Xiao's terrifying physical strength, the Nether Blood Devil's way would have been much more terrifying than Lu Wu's body. Buzz. At this moment, Ling Xiao's forehead glowed, and a golden vortex spread out. Before the two beams of light shot out by Bo Yu could enter Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, they were swallowed up by the golden vortex in an instant. What? Demon Saint Boyu trembled all over, his eyes revealing a trace of disbelief. That was his soul attack, a saint's soul attack. Let alone a puny divine realm expert, even a half-saint expert would die from it. He did not expect that Ling Xiao not only blocked it, but also swallowed his soul attack. Who the hell is this guy? It's too strange. Demon Saint Boyu, you're courting death. The elder on the arena and Elder Wu Chang roared crazily. The blood in their bodies even began to burn. An incomparably terrifying wave of energy erupted as they charged at Demon Saint Boyu without any regard for their lives. The terrifying fist mark shook the void as the Saint Sword swept across tens of thousands of miles in the sky. Their attacks caused Demon Saint Boyu's expression to change. Crazy. Both of you are crazy. Void Pierce stage experts, Chonghe, you actually burned your Saint Dao origin for an ant. Demon Saint Boyu said in disbelief. He did not expect that the Void Pierce stage experts and Chonghe would burn their Saint Dao origin for Long Outyin. One should know that both of them had fallen to the half-saint realm, because their Saint Dao origin was damaged. Now that they were burning their Saint Dao origin, their cultivation bases would probably fall even faster. But how would Demon Saint Boyu know that? In their hearts, Ling Xiao was incomparably important. He was even more important than their lives. Ling Xiao had obtained the inheritance of War God Scarlet Dragon. In their hearts, Ling Xiao was the hope of the War God Temple. He was the hope of the entire War God Temple. Anyone could die except for Ling Xiao. Not to mention burning their Saint Dao origin. Even if they were asked to die, they would probably not even frown. Damn it. Since you think so highly of him, I will kill him. The Demon Saint Boyu said in exasperation. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Rumble. He gave up on occupying Ling Xiao's body and threw out a punch. A terrifying fist seal that carried the momentum of heaven and earth violently landed on Ling Xiao's chest. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with bitterness. In the face of such a vast amount of Saint Dao power, he did not even have the slightest strength to resist. All he could do was take the blow head on. Rumble. A dazzling light burst out from Ling Xiao's chest. It was as if countless ancient runes were blooming and spinning rapidly. They were annihilated by Demon Saint Boyu's punch. However, they had also neutralized 90% of Demon Saint Boyu's power. Ling Xiao's chest caved in instantly. His entire body was sent flying while blood spurted out from his mouth. Demon Saint Boyu frowned. He could feel that there was a layer of extremely powerful defensive treasure on Ling Xiao's body, which caused his punch to be greatly obstructed. Most of the power of his punch was neutralized. Boyu, you're courting death. Go to hell. Seeing this scene, the eyes of the elder on the arena and the elder of Wuchang turned red. Both of them roared madly. Rumble. The qi around their bodies became more and more terrifying. Endless saint aura gushed out like two divine suns that were slowly rising. They unleashed immeasurable divine might and charged towards Demon Saint Boyu in a frenzy. Chapter 1457. Rumble. Ling Xiao's body crashed into a mountain in the distance, causing the mountain to explode. Ling Xiao spat out blood, and his internal organs were almost completely shattered. Cracks appeared all over his body, as if he was about to break apart. That punch from Demon Saint Boyu was too terrifying. Ling Xiao had already put on the golden warrior armor, and even the good fortune jade disc in his chest. At the same time, he used the sky-devouring secret technique to devour all the foreign energy that invaded his body. With such a terrifying defense, even a normal half-saint would not be able to hurt Ling Xiao. However, that punch from Demon Saint Boyu made Ling Xiao feel the threat of death. Even though he had made so many preparations, he was still seriously injured by Demon Saint Boyu, and his body was almost destroyed. This was the most serious injury he had suffered since he entered the divine realm. Cough, cough, Ling Xiao coughed out blood. Although his face was pale, his eyes were extremely bright. He had succeeded, and he had won the gamble. Not only had he destroyed Demon Saint Boyu's body, but he had also escaped from Demon Saint Boyu's all-out attack. This was undoubtedly a miracle. If it had been someone else, not to mention a divine king, even a half-saint would have been killed by Demon Saint Boyu's punch. Ling Xiao felt that it was worth it to trade his injuries for Demon Saint Boyu's strength. Whoosh! Ling Xiao struggled to fly out of the shattered mountain range. What? Seeing Ling Xiao's figure appear, everyone was stunned. He survived Demon Saint Boyu's all-out attack? How is this possible? A disciple from Ares College stuttered, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. This was a little too dreamy. Demon Saint Boyu had imprisoned Ling Xiao with his Saint Path realm, so Ling Xiao could not resist at all. He could only endure Demon Saint Boyu's all-out attack. Many disciples from Ares College had thought that Ling Xiao was dead for sure, and before they had time to feel sad, this guy had come out alive? Although Ling Xiao was severely injured, coughing out blood, and looking pale, he had indeed survived. Tong Yuan shuddered and reacted instantly. He immediately opened the 9-dragon divine array and let Ling Xiao in. Then he protected Ling Xiao even more tightly. Long Outyan, are you alright? This time, you have made a great contribution. The fact that Ares College is safe is all thanks to you, Tong Yuan said with great concern. His eyes were full of gratitude. He knew that if Ling Xiao had not taken the risk, the 9-dragon divine array would have been broken by the Boyu demon sage. At that time, everyone would have become food for the Boyu demon sage, and the entire Ares College would have been destroyed. I'm fine. Principal, Demon Saint Boyu has lost his mortal body, and his prowess has been greatly reduced. He can no longer cast the Nether Blood Demon Dao. You can activate the 9-dragon godly array formation and imprison him. Then you can kill him once and for all. Ling Xiao's eyes glinted sharply as he looked at Demon Saint Boyu in the distance. Good. We've been on the defensive all this time. This time, we must make sure he stays here forever. Tong Yuan's eyes glinted coldly. Without the Nether Blood Demon Dao, Tong Yuan did not have to divert his attention to protect the disciples of Ares College. Instead, he could directly activate the 9-dragon godly array formation and attack Demon Saint Boyu. Rumble. The Battle Elder and Elder Wuzong burned their Sage Dao origins and unleashed a shocking attack that destroyed the Blood Sea in the sky. Even Demon Saint Boyu was affected by this attack and suffered some injuries. What? It was at this moment that Demon Saint Boyu realized that Ling Xiao was still alive. He was shocked. Ha ha ha. I knew it. Ling. Long Outyin would not die in your hands so easily. Demon Saint Boyu, prepare to die. Seeing that Ling Xiao was still alive, the Battle Elder was slightly relieved and laughed heartily. Rumble. The Battle Elder slammed his palm across the sky, and streaks of holy light filled the air. Suddenly, streaks of lightning fell from the sky like a mountain, emitting a brilliant purple light. It was majestic and mysterious. Purple firmament world devastating thunder Dao? Demon Saint Boyu's expression changed, and his eyes revealed a trace of fear. If he still had his physical body, he might not be afraid. But now he was only left with his primordial spirit body. The purple firmament world devastating thunder Dao was one of the 9 supreme martial arts of Ares' shrine. It could summon the purple firmament heavenly thunder and world devastating heavenly thunder. Its power was extremely terrifying, and it was the perfect counter to the primordial spirit body. Swoosh. Swoosh. Demon Saint Boyu's speed was extremely fast, and he kept dodging the streaks of lightning in the void. At the same time, he had a thought of retreating. That Long Outyin must have a big secret. I must capture him and interrogate him for all his secrets. Demon Saint Boyu thought to himself as he looked at Ling Xiao deeply. A kid in the complete celestial god realm was too strange. Even Demon Saint Boyu had to treat him seriously. He had already decided that after he left this place, he must find a way to capture Long Outyin. Demon Saint Boyu already had the thought of retreating. Now that he was only left with his primordial spirit body, if Demon Saint Boyu did not leave, he might be forced to stay by Elder Wuzong and Elder Arena. After all, Lu Wu was already dead. A dead man had no value, so there was no point in staying here. Elder Wuzong seemed to have seen through Demon Saint Boyu's intention to escape. Suddenly, the ancient sword in his hand became fierce and fierce. Streaks of flame divine light swept across the sky, forming a vast fire barrier, blocking Demon Saint Boyu's way. Sky-burning sacred technique? Demon Saint Boyu's expression changed again. Whether it was the purple firmament world devastating thunder Dao, or the sky-burning sacred technique, they were extremely effective against his primordial spirit body. Moreover, both of them had burned their saint path origin, and their strength was extremely terrifying. They were about to suppress him. Rumble. At this moment, divine light vibrated in the void, and dazzling runes appeared. Streaks of golden divine dragons soared into the sky, surging in the sea of clouds. 81 divine dragons intertwined with each other to form a vast and terrifying killing array, sealing off this part of the world. Those golden divine dragons were majestic and mysterious. They were formed from the Earth's dragon veins, and had been refined by the experts of Ares College for generations. They had formed dragon chi that was similar to magic treasures. They were extremely powerful, comparable to ordinary half-saints. 81 golden divine dragons were equivalent to 81 half-saints. Without the restriction of the Netherblood Devil Path, the terrifying attack power of the 9-dragon divine array erupted. Demon Saint Boyu's expression changed instantly. Whether it was the purple firmament world devastating thunder Dao, the sky-burning sacred technique, or the 9-dragon divine array, they all gave him a bad feeling. Chapter 1458. Rumble. Lightning spurted out, flames burned the sky, an incomparably terrifying power intertwined in the void. Then, it turned into a divine light storm and suddenly erupted. Demon Saint Boyu's eyes turned serious, and a mysterious aura emanated from his body. The void suddenly shattered, and his figure suddenly escaped into the turbulence of the void, dodging the earth-shattering blow. Although Demon Saint Boyu was in the realm of a saint, he still flinched in the face of 2 half-saints and the 9-dragon divine formation. Asterisk swoosh. 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 Asterisk however, the power of the 9-dragon divine formation was completely unleashed. Streaks of scorching divine light swept across the void, and turned into mysterious divine chains of order. They pierced through the void and coiled around Devil Saint Boyu's primordial spirit. Long Outyin, remember this. Your life is mine. Devil Saint Boyu gave Ling Xiao a deep look. Then, his body shrouded in divine light and instantly tore apart the void, creating a crack in the 9-dragon divine formation. After that, he quickly fled into the distance. With only his primordial spirit left, he would not gain any benefits even if he continued to stay here. Therefore, Devil Saint Boyu had decided to flee. Killing intent flashed in the eyes of Chonghe. He shouted, "Devil Saint Boyu, where do you think you are going?" Boom. Purple lightning flashed across the void while flames rose and spread into the distance. The void-pierced stage expert and Chonghe. One of them was enveloped in purple lightning while the other was enveloped in a sea of flames. They chased after Devil Sage Boyu at an extremely fast speed. As expected of Devil Saint Boyu, even though he is only left with his primordial spirit, no one can stop him. Ling Xiao said with a sigh. Although the 9-dragon divine formation was extremely terrifying, it still could not stop Devil Saint Boyu. Ling Xiao thought that Devil Saint Boyu might really escape. However, Ling Xiao felt somewhat displeased that he had gained such a powerful enemy out of nowhere. As the saying went, one could be a thief for 1,000 days. How could one guard against a thief for 1,000 days? If Devil Saint Boyu targeted him, Ling Xiao would have to be extremely careful. Chonghe, I want to leave. None of you can stop me. Demon Saint Boyu sneered and struck out with his palm. A black demon light turned into a giant wall that connected heaven and earth, blocking the two of them in an instant. Demon Saint Boyu turned into a blazing stream of light, and was about to disappear into the void. Rumble. But at this moment, a loud rumble exploded in the sky. A huge scorching sun furnace appeared there. It was like a resplendent sun, exuding an ancient and terrifying aura. Endless flames poured down from it. Furthermore, an incomparably terrifying devouring force enveloped the entire area and locked onto Demon Saint Boyu, intending to devour him into the blazing sun furnace. Above the blazing sun furnace, a figure in red robes vaguely appeared. His aura was torrential and enveloped the entire sky. The scorching sun furnace of the war god temple? Damn it! Demon Saint Boyu's expression changed abruptly. His eyes were filled with exasperation. He did not expect the people of the war god temple to arrive so quickly, and even bring the supreme treasure, the scorching sun furnace. The flames in the scorching sun furnace were the sacred sun fire. Even a saint could be forcibly refined by it. It was extremely terrifying. Demon Saint Boyu felt his scalp tingle. He did not dare to touch it at all. Whoosh! Demon Saint Boyu's gaze turned solemn. There seemed to be mysterious flames rising from his body, making his aura even more terrifying. He suddenly spat out a black fireball from his mouth. It contained an aura that could make one's primordial spirit tremble, and flew toward the scorching sun furnace. Rumble! Before the black fireball could reach the scorching sun oven, it instantly exploded. Endless flames rose and fell from the 9 heavens, as if it was going to destroy the world. Demon Saint Boyu also borrowed the power of this terrifying energy to break free from the scorching sun furnace's shackles, and flee in the direction of the furnace. Demon Saint Boyu, where do you think you're going? A cold and indifferent voice sounded, accompanied by streaks of purple lightning that exploded in the void. Rumble! It was an ancient purple ruler that fell from the sky. It traversed hundreds of millions of miles across the void, emitting endless blazing lightning. It was extremely terrifying. An old man in black armor with a dignified face bathed in lightning. His aura was so terrifying that it made the void around him tremble violently. He looked at Demon Saint Boyu with eyes full of murderous intent. Purple firmament ruler? Demon Saint Boyu exclaimed. There was even a hint of despair in his eyes. There was a supreme treasure. The purple firmament ruler was the supreme treasure of the Thunder Hall of the War God Temple. It contained the origin of lightning, and was extremely terrifying. It seemed that Lei Qianjue had deliberately activated this ruler. It contained an extremely terrifying power that made Demon Saint Boyu's scalp tingle. Heavenly demon disintegration, Maha immeasurable. I sacrifice my broken body to the heavens. Explode. 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 Demon Saint Boyu's eyes suddenly turned crazy. His face was filled with murderous intent as he roared madly. Rumble! His primordial spirit instantly swelled up. Endless black light overflowed from it, containing evil, dark and ancient waves. The moment the purple firmament ruler fell, it directly exploded. Terrifying divine light instantly tore the sky apart. Streams of void turbulence spread out. Chaotic mist rose, and the sky trembled violently. The terrifying tremor directly annihilated the lightning that filled the sky. Demon Saint Boyu's figure completely disappeared before everyone's eyes. Heavenly Demon Sacrificial Saint Technique? He still got away. The purple firmament ruler turned into a stream of light and fell into the hands of the old man in black armor. His face was a little pale. He had been accumulating power for a long time for this attack. He wanted to kill Demon Saint Boyu with one blow, but he did not expect that he would still let him escape. Of course, Demon Saint Boyu must have been severely injured when he used the Heavenly Demon Sacrificial Saint technique. There was no way he could recover to his peak in a short time. Lei Qianjue? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. He immediately recognized the old man with the purple firmament ruler. He was the deputy hall master of the Thunder Hall, Lei Qianjue. The purple firmament ruler was the supreme treasure of the Thunder Hall, and the scorching sun furnace was the supreme treasure of the Fire Hall. Ling Xiao did not expect that they would bring these two supreme treasures to kill Demon Saint Boyu. These two supreme treasures were supreme holy treasures. They were not something that ordinary holy treasures could compare to. I'm afraid that these two have already arrived. They waited until now to make a move. Could it be that they want to kill with a borrowed knife? Chapter 1459. Ling Xiao could tell that the power of the scorching sun furnace and the purple firmament ruler was not a hasty attack. Instead, it was something that Lei Qianjue and the red-robed old man had planned for a long time. They used the scorching sun furnace to attract all of Devil Saint Boyu's attention and forced him to run towards Lei Qianjue. Then they used the purple firmament ruler to launch a fatal attack. They wanted to kill Devil Saint Boyu once and for all. This meant that the two of them had arrived a long time ago and were hiding in the void. However, they didn't do anything even though they arrived early. Instead, they just watched Devil Saint Boyu wreak havoc in Ares College. They only stopped him when he tried to escape. This point was incomparably thought-provoking. The first thought that came to Ling Zhao's mind was that Lei Qianjue wanted to use Devil Saint Boyu to get rid of Void Pierce Stage and Chonghe. After all, for the past 1,000,000 years, the Thunder Hall and the Battle Hall were like fire and water. They were almost at the point of life and death. Ling Xiao had every reason to believe that Lei Qianjue wanted to use Devil Saint Boyu to get rid of the people of the Battle Hall. Senior brothers, I'm afraid that the two of them have arrived a long time ago. They waited until now to make a move. Their intentions are very sinister. You must be careful. Ling Xiao transmitted his voice to Void Pierce Stage and Chonghe. The two of them also felt a little strange. After hearing Ling Zhao's words, their hearts trembled and their eyes turned cold. They were actually set up by their fellow disciples. This was something that they could not tolerate no matter what. Swoosh! Swoosh! Lei Qianjue and the red-robed old man arrived in the sky above Ares College in an instant. Their auras were powerful and mysterious. Their faces were incomparably dignified. Thank you for your help. Otherwise, Ares College would have been in great danger today. Tong Yuan's eyes were filled with excitement and surprise. He bowed to Lei Qianjue and the red-robed old man together with Han Li and the others. Many of the Ares College's disciples looked as though they had just survived a calamity. After all, Demon Saint Boyu had wreaked havoc this time, directly destroying the generational competition, and even killing a large number of disciples. It was a bloody massacre. Junior brothers, there's no need to be so polite. We are all disciples of the same sect. It's only natural for us to help each other. Ares College is a part of the War God Palace. Of course, the sect will not give up on everyone. The red-robed old man was Lai Yuan, the vice master of the Fire Palace. His hair and beard, he had a kind face, which made people have a good impression of him. Tong Yuan recounted how Demon Sage Boyu had possessed Lu Wu's body, how he had fought with Ling Xiao in a life-and-death battle, and how the Nether Blood Demon Dao had wreaked havoc on Ares College. Of course, Tong Yuan also told him about how Ling Xiao had risked his life to destroy Lu Wu's physical body, and how he had defeated Devil Saint Bo Yu's spirit. Void Pierce Stage and Chong He brought Ling Xiao along to welcome them. However, their faces were incomparably cold. It couldn't be helped. The Void Pierce Stage and Chong He were both figures from 1,000,000 years ago. Although their cultivation base had fallen to the half-sage realm due to their injuries, they were still the old ancestors of the War God Temple for half of their lives. Even the War God Supreme of the War God Temple had to address them as martial uncle when he saw them. Lei Qianjue Lai Yuan, I don't have such good martial nephews like you two. You two should have arrived a long time ago, right? Why did you wait until Devil Saint Bo Yu tried to escape before you made a move? The Void Pierce Stage was the most hot-tempered one. He questioned Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan directly. As soon as the Void Pierce Stage's voice fell, Tong Yuan, Han Li, and the other disciples of Ares College changed their expressions. If Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan had arrived a long time ago, it would be hard for them to accept the fact that Devil Saint Bo Yu massacred the disciples of Ares College. Many of them even showed angry expressions. It was especially so for Tong Yuan, Han Li, and the others. They were not stupid. After thinking about it carefully, they naturally realized that something was amiss. Seeing the expressions of the people of Ares College change, Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan's faces also became extremely unsightly. Uncle Master Chong Su, although you are our senior, you can't accuse us for no reason, right? The sect is hundreds of millions of li asterisk, 500 m per li, away from here. We rushed here with all our might, and just happened to see Devil Saint Bo Yu trying to escape. That's why we made a move to stop him. Uncle Master Chong Su, please don't accuse us unjustly. Lai Yuan said with a wry smile. Lei Qianjue sneered and said, Uncle Master Chong Su, you can eat whatever you want but you can't say whatever you want. Although you are our senior, if you accuse us without any evidence, we will explain it to our sect master and ask him to uphold justice for us. Chong Su was so angry that he laughed and said, whether you have arrived a long time ago or not, you know very well in your hearts. You were able to set up such a deadly trap and almost killed Devil Saint Bo Yu. If you say that you have not been hiding there in advance, do you think that we are fools or that Devil Saint Bo Yu is a fool? Chong He's expression was also very cold. He frowned but still did not say anything. Although they knew that Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan must have arrived a long time ago, they did not have any evidence at all. Ling Xiao also did not say anything. He just looked at Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan coldly. That is just a coincidence. We came all the way from the sect to rescue him. If Uncle Master Chong Su thinks of us in such a way, then we are really disappointed. Lai Yuan said with a wry smile. Anyway, there was no evidence at all. As long as they refused to admit it, even if others suspected them, there was nothing they could do about it. Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan hated Chong Su and Chong He so much that their teeth itched. These two old men dared to expose them in public and put them in an awkward position. It would definitely cause a lot of negative effects in Ares College. After all, Chong He and Chong Su's prestige was much higher than theirs. Lei Qianjue's eyes were cold. Suddenly he looked at Ling Xiao with a strange expression and said, You are Long Out Yen? I heard that you destroyed the body of Demon Saint Bo Yu. How did you do it when even the two uncle masters could not do it? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He did not expect Lei Qianjue to change the topic and target him. He could not help but say calmly, When Demon Saint Bo Yu and the two elders were fighting, they did not notice me. Coincidentally, I know a kind of chi concealing technique, and turned into a blood demon. When I got close to Demon Saint Bo Yu, I gave him a fatal blow and luckily destroyed his body. Chi concealing technique? I have never heard of any kind of chi concealing technique that can allow a heavenly god to hide from the senses of a saint. You make it sound so easy. Long Out Yin, I advise you to tell us the truth. Are you also a spy of the demon race? Destroying Demon Saint Bo Yu's body was just a show for everyone to see? Lei Qianjue's eyes turned cold as he suddenly shouted. His voice was like thunder. It contained a mysterious sound wave that spread toward Ling Xiao. It was as if it could shake one's mind. His words caused everyone's expression to change. Chapter 1460. Boom. A powerful sound wave exploded in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. However, before it could enter Ling Xiao's primordial spirit, it was neutralized by the wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao's gaze instantly turned incomparably cold. Lei Qianjue's cultivation base was extremely strong. Just like Lai Yuan, he was at the peak of the 9th revolution half-saint realm. He was only one step away from attaining the Tao and becoming a saint. His true strength was slightly stronger than the void-pierce stage experts in Chonghe. If it were any other ordinary disciple, they would have been influenced by Lei Qianjue's words and followed his instructions right away. A spy of the devil race? Ha ha ha. Lei Qianjue, are you out of your mind? If I'm a spy of the devil race, why would I help the Ares Academy destroy Devil Saint Boyu's body? If I'm a spy of the devil race, why wouldn't I want Devil Saint Boyu to kill all of you? What's in it for me? Even if you want to frame me, please think of a better reason. Don't assume that everyone is as stupid as you. Ling Xiao was so angry that he laughed. His eyes were clear as he stared at Lei Qianjue. Lei Qianjue, you are the Vice Lord of the Thunder Palace. How dare you use such a despicable method on a disciple? Do you really think that I can't do anything to you just because my cultivation base has declined? A void-pierce stage expert also bellowed. His eyes revealed a hint of anger. Chong Su could tell that Lei Qianjue had used a nascent soul attack on Ling Xiao. Fortunately, Ling Xiao wasn't hit by the attack. However, Chong Su was still enraged. The people of the Thunder Palace were still as arrogant as ever. They were so arrogant 1,000,000 years ago and 1,000,000 years later. Everyone was stunned, especially the disciples of the Ares Academy. They all looked at Ling Xiao with admiration. Lei Qianjue was the Vice Lord of the Thunder Palace. He was a powerful figure, who was at the peak of the half-saint realm. He only needed one more step to become a saint of the War God Temple. Everyone was impressed by Ling Xiao's boldness in calling Lei Qianjue by his full name without any hesitation. Even though no one dared to say anything, they were still pissed off at Lei Qianjue. Ling Xiao had saved the entire Ares College and was their savior. No one believed Lei Qianjue's accusation that Ling Xiao was a spy for the demons. A cold light flashed across Lei Qianjue's eyes, but he quickly regained his composure and said, Uncle Master Chongshu, you have misunderstood me. I just want to find out the truth. After all, Long Outyin is only a heavenly god. It is unbelievable that he could destroy Lu Wu's body. Chonghe said coldly, Lei Qianjue, everyone has their own opportunity and their own secrets. The faction will not rob our disciples of their resources. All we need to do is to make sure that Long Outyin is not a spy from the demons. That's all we need to do. If you do this, many disciples will be bitterly disappointed in the sect. Lai Yuan laughed and said, Uncle Masters, it is easy to prove that Long Outyin is not a spy from the demons. All we need to do is ask him to swear the great oath of the heart, and everything will be clear. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as he looked at Lai Yuan. He knew that the Thunder Temple and the Battle Temple were like fire and water, and the Fire Temple and the Thunder Temple were in the same boat. Therefore, even though Lai Yuan was trying to persuade Lei Qianjue, he was actually helping Lei Qianjue. Ling Xiao sneered and said, Lei Qianjue, I can swear the great oath of the heart that I am not a spy from the demons. But do you dare to swear the great oath of the heart? Do you dare to swear that you didn't come here earlier and watch Devil Saint Boyu attack us without doing anything? Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan's faces darkened. They did not dare to swear the great oath of the heart. The reason why Lei Qianjue had attacked Ling Xiao was that he did not like Ling Xiao. Another reason was that he wanted to divert everyone's attention. However, he did not expect that Ling Xiao would draw his attention back. Pierce Void also said coldly, Lei Qianjue, I can swear that Long Outyin is not a spy from the demons. However, if you don't believe me, then let Ling Xiao swear the great oath of the heart. But to be fair, you can swear the great oath of the heart with him. Both Chonghe and Chong Su stood firmly behind Ling Xiao. Although their cultivation base had deteriorated, they were still the senior uncles of Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan. With the two of them around, even if Lei Qianjue was furious with Ling Xiao, he could not do anything. Lei Qianjue's face changed slightly. He said coldly, You don't have to swear the great oath of the heart. Since the two of you are willing to swear the great oath of the heart, then I will also believe that Long Outyin is not a spy from the demons. Now that this matter is settled, there are still many things that need to be done in the faction. I will not stay here any longer. Farewell, martial uncles. A murderous intent flashed in Lei Qianjue's eyes. He stared at Ling Xiao for a while, and turned around to leave without saying goodbye to Tong Yuan and the others. Martial uncles, junior martial brothers, farewell. Lai Yuan smiled bitterly. He cupped his fists and bowed to the crowd. Then he chased after Lei Qianjue. That bastard. He must be trying to get Demon Saint Boyu to kill us. Someone shouted angrily. Seeing Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan running away in a hurry without saying a word about the Great Oath of the Heart, everyone knew what was going on. Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan had been here for a long time, but they did not do anything. In just a blink of an eye, Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan's image in everyone's mind was ruined. Many of the disciples of War God Temple were enraged. Tong Yuan and Han Li's face darkened. No matter what Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan's reason, they could not forgive them for what they had done. I will report this to the sect leader. I think Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan are the true spies. Elder Han Li said with a cold look in his eyes. He was very hot-tempered. However, his words caused Tong Yuan and the others' faces to change. Tong Yuan quickly said, Junior Martial Brother Han, please keep quiet. You can't talk about this carelessly. Be careful of what you say. After all, Lei Qianjue held a high position in the sect, and was rumored to be the next leader of the Thunder Temple. Although Tong Yuan and Han Li were elders of Ares College, they did not hold a high position in the sect. They might even be lower than the ordinary elders. Chong He and Chong Su looked at Lei Qianjue and Lai Yuan with deep eyes. Then a sharp light flashed in their eyes. The generational tournament was supposed to be a good one. However, because of Demon Saint Boyu, the entire Ares College was almost destroyed. However, Ling Xiao had stepped in at the most critical moment and saved the entire Ares College. His reputation had reached a new peak, even surpassing that of Big Brother Tiangang. After that, Tong Yuan and Han Li were not in the mood to announce the results of the generational tournament. After handing out the rewards hastily, they began to clean up the battlefield. Chapter 1461. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, left together with Chong He and Chong Su. Inside a palace, Chong Su stretched out his hand and waved it. Immediately, he set up an isolation formation that enveloped the entire palace. Young master, you've offended Lei Qianjue today. I'm afraid he won't let you off so easily. You have to be careful in the future. The Chong Su's eyes showed a hint of worry. That's right. Lei Qianjue is the vice hall master of the Thunder Hall. He's a vengeful man. His father is a grand elder. I'm afraid he'll make things difficult for you after you enter the War God Hall. Chong He said slowly. Senior brothers, he's already bullying us. Can't we fight back? So what if he's Lei Qianjue? Give me enough time, and I'll slaughter him like a dog. Ling Xiao sneered as a cold killing intent flashed in his eyes. He was furious. He didn't have any enmity with Lei Qianjue, but because he rejected Lei Qianjue's offer to take him as a disciple, Lei Qianjue started to find fault with him. First, Lei Qianjue cancelled his opportunity to receive the cyclic sky seal's projection. This time, Lei Qianjue deliberately targeted him. When dealing with a vengeful person like Lei Qianjue, one could either stay away from him, or be even more ruthless and kill him. Ling Xiao was not a coward. As long as he had the strength, he would definitely kill Lei Qianjue. Young master, you're right. What we need most now is time. After all, you're still too young. However, in the upcoming 100 Academy tournament, you must strive to enter the top 3. The top 3 should have a chance to become a true disciple of the War God Hall. As long as you become a true disciple, even Lei Qianjue, the Vice Hall Master, won't dare to do anything to you. Chong Su sighed softly. Senior brothers, don't worry. I'll definitely be the champion of the 100 Academy tournament this time. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he said confidently. Chong He and Chong Su looked at each other and nodded slowly. Through this generational tournament, they could see Ling Zhao's true strength. He indeed had a chance to become the champion. Young master, The academy tournament this time should be led by Tong Yuan or Han Li. You should also be careful of demon sage Bo Yu. Although he's heavily injured, he definitely hates you to the core. Let's go to the faction and contact our old friends. We'll tell the god of war what happened here. We can't let Lei Qianjue sow discord between us. Chongha said to Ling Xiao. Senior brothers, your divine path foundations have been damaged. Is there no way to recover them? How can I completely heal your injuries? Ling Xiao looked at Chong Su and Chong He and asked. Both of them were extremely talented as well. It was only because their saintly path foundations were damaged that their cultivation declined, and they were unable to recover their previous cultivation. If the injuries of Void Pierce stage experts and Chong He could be fully recovered, and they would possess the power of the sacred Tao, Ling Xiao would have two great helpers in the War God Temple. It's difficult. However, even the Saint Ruler ancestor of our War God Hall was unable to do anything. If you want to repair the foundation of the Sage Path, only the legendary Supreme Great Emperor can do it. Chong Su said with a bitter smile. Supreme Great Emperor? I'm afraid there aren't any great emperors in the entire divine world now. Otherwise, the human race wouldn't be cowering in the divine world and be suppressed by the devil race. Ling Xiao said with a sigh. Ever since the disappearance of the 9 great emperors of the human race, there hadn't been a single great emperor in the human race. If it weren't for the barrier of the divine world, the divine world would have been conquered by the experts of other worlds. There's another way. However, I'm afraid it's even more difficult than the Supreme Great Emperor. Chong He hesitated for a moment and shook his head. What is it? Ling Xiao's eyes lit up. As long as there was a way, he would give it a try no matter what. Unless we can find the legendary Saint Heartgrass and purify our saintly path origin. However, we haven't heard of the Saint Heartgrass for so many years. I'm afraid it has long been lost in the divine world. Chong He said with a bitter smile. Saint Heartgrass. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had naturally heard of the Saint Heartgrass before. It was a supreme treasure from ancient times that contained the saintly path origin energy. It could allow one to be reborn and purify their saintly path origin energy. It was an essential treasure to prove one's Tao and become a saint in ancient times. However, the Saint Heartgrass had long been lost in the divine world. Even if it existed in the other greater thousand realms, it was extremely rare. This was also one of the reasons why proving one's Tao and becoming a saint was so difficult. Senior brothers, don't worry. I will definitely find the Saint Heartgrass for you. Ling Xiao said seriously. Good. However, let's put this matter aside for now. The most important thing for you now is to cultivate diligently. Use the deity's lake and God of War pagoda to increase your cultivation in the next few months. If you can break through to the Divine King realm before the Academy tournament, the champion's seat will definitely be yours. Chong Su said with a laugh, looking very free and easy. However, it was obvious that he didn't believe that Ling Xiao could obtain the Saint Heartgrass. After all, it was a supreme treasure that had been lost for a long time. Ling Xiao didn't say much. He had already secretly decided to search for the Saint Heartgrass. When the time came, he would give his 2 senior brothers a surprise. Ling Xiao left the palace and returned to the High Heaven Pavilion. Elder Chong Su and Elder Chong He were also preparing to make a trip back to the War God Hall to contact their old friends and meet the War God Supreme. When Ling Xiao returned to the High Heaven Pavilion, he saw a few disciples waiting respectfully for him. Senior Brother Long, you are now first on the Hidden Dragon leaderboard. You can move to the Big Dipper Palace. Senior Brother Big Dipper has already vacated the Big Dipper Palace and is waiting for you to move in at any time. The few disciples looked at Ling Xiao with incomparable reverence. Big Dipper Palace? No need. Just tell Senior Brother to continue living there. I will still be living in the High Heaven Pavilion from now on. Ling Xiao said, shaking his head. Whether it was the palace or the pavilion, it didn't have much use to Ling Xiao. After all, his current cultivation couldn't be increased by absorbing divine spiritual qi. Yes, although the few disciples were a little surprised, they didn't dare to disobey Ling Xiao's wishes. After bowing to Ling Xiao, they left. Junior Brother Long, are you looking down on my Big Dipper Palace? However, The environment of your high heaven pavilion is really good. I want to build a pavilion next to it and live here. Before Ling Xiao entered the high heaven pavilion, he heard a hearty laugh resounding in the void. Whoosh! Big Dipper, who was wearing a beast skin, flew over from afar. Like a golden divine light, he instantly landed in front of Ling Xiao. Big Dipper's face was resolute. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his aura looked very wild. If senior brother wants to build a pavilion here, it won't be difficult. I will naturally welcome it. Chapter 1462. Junior Brother Long, I naturally want to as well. However, I'm afraid that there won't be a chance. After the academy tournament ends, we'll have to head to the War God Shrine. Junior Brother Long, what do you think of the academy tournament? Tiangang said with a smile as he sized Ling Xiao up. The most important thing in the academy tournament is to obtain the 10 spots to enter the Void Saint world, right? However, our Ares College hasn't been able to obtain a good ranking in the academy tournament these past few years. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Although he didn't know the purpose of Tiangang's visit, he could feel the goodwill that Tiangang was emitting. Furthermore, Tiangang was from the Pangu clan, and Ling Xiao and the Pangu clan were fated. Thus, he wanted to get to know Tiangang better. Ling Xiao and Tiangang chatted as they walked side by side, stopping at the top of a mountain. In front of them was a sea of clouds that stretched as far as the eye could see. A mountain breeze blew, making one feel comfortable. In the distance, a divine sun hung high above the sea of clouds, sprinkling down countless rays of golden light. That's right. The most important thing is the spots to enter the Void Saint world. Ares College hasn't been able to obtain a good ranking. In the past few academy tournaments, not a single one of us managed to enter the top 10. Thus, the dean has placed high hopes on us. Tiangang sighed with emotion. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. He hadn't known about this, but he hadn't expected Ares College to be doing so poorly. They couldn't even enter the top 10. Although the academy tournament was said to have hundreds of academies participating, there weren't many that could pose a threat to Ares College. The academy tournament covered the 10 celestial domains near the Grand Celestial Domain. Within the 10 celestial domains, aside from the Grand Celestial, Overlord, Heavenly Sword, and Dezhou's 4 great academies, there were only 2 or 3 academies on the same level as Ares College. The rest were not even worth mentioning. Even so, no one from Ares College had been able to enter the top 10. They were indeed doing poorly. In this academy tournament, we'll take half of the 10 spots to enter the Void Saint world. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, a resplendent glint in his eyes. Even though Tiangang was extremely confident, he was still shocked by Ling Xiao's words. If Ares College wanted half of the spots, wouldn't that mean that 5 people from Ares College would enter the top 10? This was a little too frightening. Junior Brother Long, Yumi, and Junior Brother Zhou Daoji should be able to take up 3 spots. I don't think half of it is possible. Tiangang laughed bitterly. Don't worry. Xianwang will take one of the 2 spots, and Yi Liangchen will be one of them. Ling Xiao smiled. Junior sister Xianwang. There might not be a problem. However, Yi Liangchen is only an early heavenly god. I don't think it's possible. Tiangang looked at Ling Xiao in surprise. He could see the confidence in Ling Xiao's eyes. He had seen the Xian King's strength before, and he was indeed very strong. There should be hope for him to take one of the spots. However, what Yi Liangchen said was ridiculous. Elder senior brother, don't underestimate Yi Liangchen. He just doesn't want to do his best. If it was a battle of life and death, senior martial brother Zhou Daoji would be no match for him. Ling Xiao said slowly. That guy Yi Liangchen had the holy body of misfortune. Ling Xiao had already decided that he would definitely bring Yi Liangchen to the astral tournament this time. With this killer, Ares College might be able to obtain even more spots. Oh, if that's really the case, then junior brother Yi must participate in the astral tournament. Tiangang glanced at Ling Xiao in surprise. However, he believed that Ling Xiao should be quite confident in his words. Hence he chose to believe him. Wang. A resplendent rune rose up from Ling Xiao's hand, instantly transforming into a barrier, enveloping Ling Xiao and Tiangang. Elder senior brother, may I ask if you are from the Pengu clan? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he asked slowly. Tiangang's body trembled as his gaze turned sharp. He looked deeply at Ling Xiao and asked, "How did you know?" Tiangang's terrifying aura intertwined as an incomparably powerful force was hidden. He stared at Ling Xiao as if he was going to attack him at any moment. Elder senior brother, you don't have to be so nervous. Speaking of which, I have some connections with the Pengu clan. I wonder if you have heard of the name Penguchu? Ling Xiao said with a smile. Penguchu. That's the 3600th patriarch of the Pengu clan. However, 1,000,000 years ago, he left the divine realm with a portion of his clan and went to a small world. How do you know the name of my ancestor? Tiangang was shocked as he stared at Ling Xiao, his heart filled with doubt. Although he didn't say it out loud, it was equivalent to admitting his identity as a member of the Pengu clan. I once saw the remains of Penguchu in the War God realm. Later on, I saw members of the Pengu clan in the reincarnation realm. Ling Xiao looked at Tiangang, his eyes incomparably clear as he explained everything he knew about the Pengu clan. Ling Xiao originally planned to hide his identity as someone from the lower realm, but the Pengu clan was worthy of his trust. Thus he didn't hide anything and told Tiangang about the Pengu clan. So I'm not alone. I still have clansmen. Tiangang said in a daze after hearing Ling Xiao's words. Unknowingly, 2 streams of hot tears flowed from his eyes. His heart was incomparably agitated as his body trembled uncontrollably. His eyes were filled with hope and excitement. There are still a few thousand members of the Pengu clan. When the gate of the God realm opens, they will naturally be able to come to the God realm. Eldest senior brother, what exactly happened to the Pengu clan? Ling Xiao looked at Tiangang and said slowly. Tiangang calmed his emotions and bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. Junior brother Long, you saved the Pengu clan. You are a great benefactor of the Pengu clan. I can't thank you enough. If you have any instructions in the future, I, Tiangang, will not even frown even if I die. The bloodline seal of the Pengu clan was broken by Ling Xiao. If it wasn't for Ling Xiao, the Pengu clan would have no hope of breaking through to the supremacy realm. They would only turn into a pile of dust. Eldest senior brother is too polite. Speaking of which, Senior Penguchu also saved my life. Ling Xiao said as he helped Tiangang up. Junior brother Long, I really didn't expect you to be an ascender from the lower realm. No wonder the saints of the Holy Lands descended a few years ago to search for ascenders. But don't worry, this matter will rot in my stomach. I won't tell anyone. Speaking of which, I'm afraid I'm the only one left of the Pengu clan in the God realm. Tiangang said seriously to Ling Xiao, but his eyes were filled with unimaginable grief and anger. Chapter 1463. The Pengu clan was actually one of the legendary 9 great sovereign clans because their ancestor, Great Emperor Pengu, was one of the 9 great sovereigns of the human race. The Pengu clan had always carried out Great Emperor Pengu's will to protect the human race, the divine world, and the demon race. Countless experts had died on the battlefield. As the Pengu clan became weaker and weaker, another great sovereign clan began to covet the extreme sovereign weapon, the Pengu axe. 1,000,000 years ago, with the start of another great divine demon war, countless experts of the Pengu clan died in battle. That great sovereign clan joined forces with the Heavenly Curse sect and killed their way into the Pengu clan. They stole the Pengu axe and slaughtered countless experts of the Pengu clan. In order to continue the bloodline of the Pengu clan, Penguchu led a portion of the Pengu clan out of the divine world, while the rest hid in the divine world. However, that monarch clan and the Heavenly Curse sect were insane. They kept hunting and killing our clansmen. In order to exterminate the Pengu clan, they didn't hesitate to let the Heavenly Curse sect perform the Heavenly Curse secret technique and leave a bloodline seal in our clansman's bloodline. In the end, the last saint ancestor of the Pengu clan sacrificed his own life in order to save my life. He forcibly broke the bloodline shackles in my body and sealed me for 1,000,000 years. Tiangang slowly narrated. His voice was incomparably low. However, his eyes were wide open and 2 streams of blood flowed down his cheeks. Ling Xiao's blood boiled as he listened. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. He recalled the Great Void Emperor's fate. It was also because of the human race's greed that they destroyed a peerless genius who had the potential to become a great sovereign. The Pangu clan fought for the divine world and died for the human race without regrets. However, in the end, they ended up like this. The extreme sovereign weapon was stolen, and the Pangu clan was exterminated. After 1,000,000 years, Tiangang woke up from the seal and made an oath to wipe out the Heavenly Curse sect and the Great Sovereign clan. That was why he chose to join the Ares College. He didn't even dare to reveal a trace of the Pangu bloodline. The entire Pangu clan in the divine world has been exterminated. I'm the only one left. This hatred is irreconcilable. Sooner or later, I'll kill my way to the Heavenly Curse sect and destroy the orthodoxy of the Great Sovereign clan. Tiangang slowly said. The killing intent in his eyes overflowed to the heavens, as if even the 5 lakes and 4 seas would not be able to wash it away. Ling Xiao had never seen such a Tiangang before. In fact, he was so stubborn that he had gone crazy, dominated by hatred and anger. However, he didn't say anything and he only listened quietly. Right now, Tiangang needed to reveal the secrets that he had been suppressing in his heart. Otherwise, sooner or later, he would be driven mad. Great sovereign clans? Finally, Ling Xiao asked slowly. Daoyuo territory Chinese. Tians of U's great sovereign clan was sovereigns. Ling Xiao nodded. In the entire divine world, the Daoyuo territory was the core and the largest territory. It was once the place where the 9 emperors cultivated. It was also where the legendary ancient heavenly court was located. However, it was now occupied by a few great sovereign clans. Ling Xiao had heard of the Hua clan in the Daoyuo territory. They were the family left behind by the great sovereign emperor. The Hua clan now had the extreme sovereign weapon, the 12 heavenly flags. They could set up the 12 heavenly divine fiends formation with unparalleled power. The Hua clan was also one of the strongest forces in the divine world. Although they were both great sovereign clans, the Pangu clan was much more respectable than the Hua clan. Senior brother, have you heard of the Feng Shui family and the Tomb King city? These 2 clans are also under the bloodline shackles. They should be forces in the divine world, right? Ling Xiao asked Tiangang. The Feng Shui family and the Tomb King city were also under the bloodline shackles. However, these 2 forces were extremely mysterious and Ling Xiao had never heard of them. Are you talking about the Feng Shui Li family and the Tomb King city? There are still people from these 2 clans alive? Tiangang was also shocked. His eyes were filled with incomparable joy. The Feng Shui Li family and the Tomb King city are actually the tomb keepers of the great sovereign Pangu. They are closely related to the Pangu clan, and were also exiled 1,000,000 years ago. At that time, they were massacred by the Heavenly Curse sect. I didn't expect these 2 clans to still exist in this world. Tiangang explained to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao nodded. No wonder the Feng Shui family and the Tomb King city had the same bloodline shackles. It turned out that they were one with the Pangu clan. Ling Xiao also remembered the Heavenly Curse sect and the Hua clan. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that these 2 forces were the scum of the human race. He didn't expect the great sovereign emperor to be such a hero. Ling Xiao looked at Tiangang and said, Senior brother, they are in the war god world. They are relatively safe now. If the divine world doesn't open for a few decades, no one can threaten them. The most important thing for us is to work hard to improve our cultivation. Only by becoming a saint can we have the strength to protect them. Otherwise, I'm afraid that we will repeat the mistake 1,000,000 years ago. You're right. Revenge is not urgent. The most important thing is to improve our strength. Junior brother Long, I'm going to go into seclusion to make a breakthrough. This time, I'll try to break through to the Divine King realm in one go. Tiangang took a deep breath and suppressed all his emotions. His gaze became calm again. Speaking of which, Ling Xiao admired Tiangang very much. Tiangang could still be so strong after withstanding so much pressure. His temperament and perseverance were very moving. However, at the same time, Ling Xiao was puzzled. What happened 1,000,000 years ago that caused the Pangu clan, the Feng Shui family, and the Tomb King city to fall into the abyss? Even the Scarlet Dragon War God was forced to leave the divine world. Ling Xiao always felt that there might be some kind of earth-shattering truth hidden in the fog of time. However, with his current strength, he couldn't find out the truth. But Ling Xiao had already remembered it in his heart. Everything would come to light one day. Tian Gang left. When he left, he seemed to be very relaxed. It was as if he had put down a heavy burden. Ling Xiao could feel that Tian Gang's aura was becoming more and more harmonious. It was as if he had become one with heaven and earth. Maybe it's because of this heavy burden that he couldn't break through for so long. After undoing the knot in his heart, his cultivation will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. Ling Xiao said slowly as he looked at Tian Gang's back. At this moment, Heavenly Dipper was like a sun that had leaped out of the sea, emitting an endless amount of light. His entire body was emitting an unstoppable and invincible aura. Ling Xiao felt that Tian Gang would definitely break through to the Divine King realm this time. I should also continue to cultivate. Chapter 1464. Ling Xiao had received a total of 200 drops of sacred liquid, 2 free entries into the martial repository, and 1 free year of cultivation in the deity's lake and god of war pagoda. Ling Xiao's cultivation had already reached the great circle of the sky god realm. He was just 1 step away from the god king realm. However, Ling Xiao's breakthroughs were too fast. In just 3 years, he had reached a realm that others would take hundreds or even thousands of years to reach. It was truly shocking. Ling Xiao didn't intend to continue breaking through. He still needed to accumulate experience. Furthermore, Ling Xiao hoped to find his own path in the Void Saint world, and then break through to the God King realm. He gave the 200 drops of sacred liquid to Yi Liangchen, Fengya, and the rest. He also gave 1 free year of cultivation in the God of War Pagoda to Yi Liangchen and Fengya. Ling Xiao wanted to bring Yi Liangchen along to participate in the Academy tournament. Of course, he hoped that Yi Liangchen's cultivation would be as high as possible. With the sacred liquid and God of War Pagoda, Ling Xiao believed that Yi Liangchen's cultivation would improve by leaps and bounds. After Bai Susu received the Thunder Emperor technique from Ling Xiao, she was basically in a state of cultivation. As she had the Thunder Dragon bloodline, her cultivation of the Thunder Emperor technique improved by leaps and bounds. Her cultivation also broke through to the mid-stage of the God King realm. As for the 2 free entries into the martial repository, Ling Xiao didn't waste them. He exchanged them for the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique and the Great Wilderness Sword Path. Ling Xiao had already received the Thunder Emperor technique, so his cultivation of the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique was naturally much faster. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had the Time Cycle Inheritance, which complemented the Great Wilderness Sword Path. It could be said that Ling Xiao had a unique advantage in comprehending the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique and the Great Wilderness Sword Path. With only a few months left, Ling Xiao was prepared to consolidate his cultivation and tidy up his martial arts. He also wanted to cultivate the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique and the Great Wilderness Sword Path to greater success. Deity's Lake. This was the most mysterious cultivation ground in Ares College. Even the 9 great kings of Ares College couldn't wait to cultivate in the deity's lake every day. If they had to choose between the deity's God of War Pagoda and the God of War Pagoda, they would definitely choose the deity's lake. The deity's lake was located in the heart of Ares College, in the middle of a mountain. It was also the core of the 9 dragons array. The deity's lake was an energy pool formed from the 9 dragon divine arrays' extraction of the divine world's origin energy. Within the deity's lake, not only could one's cultivation speed increase by 10 times or even 100 times, one could also comprehend the divine world's origin energy and comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. Ling Xiao arrived at the deity's lake. Although only one person could train in the deity's lake at a time, Ling Xiao was ranked first on the hidden dragon list. With Tong Yuan's permission, the entire Ares College's resources were open to him. Thus, Ling Xiao was able to easily enter the deity's lake. This was a very ancient stone pool with a radius of only 30 meters. There was a faint mist in the stone pool, emitting a 9-colored light. All sorts of mysterious scenes appeared in the stone pool. There were countless worlds, mountains and rivers, and countless living beings. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the middle of the deity's lake. Instantly, he felt as if his entire being had calmed down, entering into an ethereal and clear state. The energy within the deity's lake was incomparably warm. Rays of 9-colored light slowly flowed towards Ling Xiao's limbs and bones. It was as if it was purifying his body, making him feel as if he was undergoing a baptism. Roar. A dragon's roar seemed to resound from Ling Xiao's body. His body was sparkling and translucent, and the meridians in his body were like dragons. Behind him, a mysterious dragon shadow seemed to have formed, emitting an ancient and mysterious aura. Is this the deity's lake? What a mysterious energy! It seems to contain a trace of the divine world's origin energy. Ling Xiao's gaze trembled as he thought to himself. Although the divine realm was able to comprehend the laws of heaven and earth, it was impossible for them to comprehend the divine world's origin energy. Only after they had proven their Tao and become a sage would they be able to comprehend the divine world's origin energy. However, this deity's lake actually contained a trace of the divine world's origin energy. Although it was incomparably weak, it was indeed the divine world's origin energy. With this trace of the divine world's origin energy, Ling Xiao seemed to be able to reflect on himself. It was as if he was a bystander, sensing the strength of his body, the laws of heaven and earth that he had comprehended, and the various martial arts that he had cultivated. This feeling was extremely strange. My physical body has already reached a kind of extreme. If it wasn't for a great opportunity, I'm afraid there's no way for me to improve it anymore. However, with just the strength of my physical body, I can defeat Divine King experts. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of sharpness. His current physical body was incomparably terrifying. The indestructible war body had integrated his essence, qi, and spirit into one. The divine dragon body had reached the great perfection stage, causing his physical body to reach a kind of extreme. Even if a real divine dragon was here, it might not necessarily be stronger than Ling Xiao's physical body. With the current strength of his physical body, he could withstand a divine king weapon with his bare hands. Without using any martial arts, he could suppress a divine king expert. This was the power of the divine dragon body at the great perfection stage, and the 5th level of the indestructible war body. Therefore, to Ling Xiao, it wasn't that important whether he could break through to the divine king realm or not. On the contrary, Ling Xiao had a kind of ambition. He wanted to find his own path to the divine path before he broke through to the divine king realm. Ling Xiao wanted to walk an unprecedented path to the divine path, which was destined to be more difficult than others. Therefore, he needed more accumulation. The Void Saint world was the best place for Ling Xiao to transform and accumulate. It was also a great opportunity that could shorten the time he needed to become a divine saint. Therefore, he definitely couldn't miss it. Rumble. The deity's lake was enshrouded in 9-colored divine radiance. It seemed to form a mysterious vortex that enveloped Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had been severely injured by demon Saint Boyu. Although he had consumed the saint liquid to heal his injuries, there were still many minor injuries in his body. In the deity's lake, it was like looking into a mirror. All the minor injuries in his body were revealed. As the energy in the deity's lake surged into Ling Xiao's body, his physical body became perfect and flawless. All the injuries were completely healed, and he became calm and relaxed. The corner of his mouth curled into a smile. His appearance was dignified, and his entire temperament seemed transcendent and mysterious. Ling Xiao sat cross-legged in the deity's lake. On one hand, he devoured the energy in the deity's lake to cultivate, consolidate his cultivation, and even comprehend the laws of heaven and earth. On the other hand, he was comprehending the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique and the Great Wilderness Sword Way. With the Thunder Origin Pearl and the legacy of the Thunder Emperor technique, Ling Xiao's process of cultivating the 5 Thunder Heavenly Spirit technique could be said to be a matter of course. It was very easy for him to comprehend the wonderful effects of this ultimate technique. The most difficult part of the Great Wilderness Sword Way was the power of time. Many people's cultivation of the Great Wilderness Sword Way was extremely slow because they couldn't comprehend the power of time. However, Ling Xiao had already comprehended a trace of the power of time through the passage of time. Therefore, the cultivation of the great wilderness sword way wasn't difficult for him. Just like that, Ling Xiao cultivated, settled, and went into hibernation in the deity's lake. His strength became more and more unfathomable. Chapter 1465. Supreme Emperor Celestial Region. This was a mysterious region with surging auspicious auras and thousands of rays of divine light. The mountains were majestic, and there were many pavilions on top of the mountains. It was like a mysterious and dangerous place. Upon closer inspection, these mountains were very ancient and exuded a mysterious aura. It was as if there were countless killing arrays carved on them. Waterfalls flowed, ancient trees stood tall, and countless rare birds and beasts ran through the forest. Many ethereal figures danced in the air, looking very peaceful. This was where the Spacetime College was located. The Spacetime College was the outer sect of the Spacetime Heavenly Gate, one of the 12 immortal holy lands. It specialized in sending genius disciples to the Spacetime Heavenly Gate and had countless years of history. The Spacetime College was also the undisputed overlord of the Supreme Emperor Celestial Region. Even many divine kingdoms and sects treated the Spacetime College's disciples with incomparable respect. This year's Academy tournament was being held at the Spacetime College. Whoosh! 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 In the distant void, more than 10 figures flew over. Each of them had a powerful aura and an extraordinary aura. In the lead was an old man with white hair and beard and a burly man. They were both divine kings. They were Ares College's Tong Yuan and Han Li. Behind them were 10 figures. There were both men and women. The men were valiant and extraordinary, while the women were peerlessly beautiful. All of them had curious looks in their eyes. Ares College had a total of 10 spots to participate in the Academy tournament. This was also the treatment given to the top academies. Ordinary academies would probably only have 1 or 2 spots. Ling Xiao, Tiangang, Zhou Daoji, Xianwang, Yiliangchen, Wang Lin Minro, Lu Huan Limu, Deng Gongjue, and Lu Jingfeng. Among them, Yiliangchen was the most eye-catching. Other than his ugly appearance, his cultivation level was also low. Although Yiliangchen had received a lot of saint liquid from Ling Xiao, his cultivation level was only at the late-stage heavenly god realm. They had set off from Ares College and passed through dozens of void teleportation arrays. They had crossed hundreds of millions of miles before arriving at the Supreme Emperor Celestial Region. This was the first time they had come to the Supreme Emperor Celestial Region, so they were very curious about this mysterious land. The Spacetime Heavenly Gate was extremely powerful among the 12 holy lands, far surpassing the War God Temple. It was even vaguely comparable to the top 2 holy lands. Although there were over 100 geniuses participating in this year's tournament of the 100 academies, the ones that Ares College truly valued were the geniuses from the same academies. The Spacetime Academy of the Heavenly Gate. The 5 Elements Academy of the 5 Elements Saint Sect. The Heavenly Curse Academy of the Heavenly Curse Sect. In addition to the Supreme Academy of the Supreme Tao Palace, the Great Zhou Academy, the Overlord Academy, and the Heavenly Sword Academy of the 9 Imperial Obelisk, these 8 great academies were the focal point of this academy tournament. This was a confrontation between the 8 great academies, as well as a confrontation between the 6 great immortal holy lands. Big brother, I heard that the Spacetime Sect, the 5 Elements Saint Sect, and the Heavenly Curse Sect are all in cahoots. They are not friendly to our War God Shrine. This time, let's capture them and give them a good beating. Yi Liangchen looked around curiously and said eagerly, I'll have to rely on you. Ling Xiao looked at Yi Liangchen and smiled. The 12 immortal holy lands had their own conflicts. Just like the War God Temple, the Supreme Tao Palace, and the 9 Imperial Obelisk Alliance, the Spacetime Heavenly Gate, the 5 Elements Saint Sect, and the Heavenly Curse Sect were all in the same camp. Because of the great chaos a million years ago, their relationship with the War God Shrine was the most tense. For the past million years, the War God Shrine had been suppressed by them, and the relationship between the disciples of the 2 sects was very complicated. It wasn't just the competition between the core disciples and the true disciples. The competition between the academies was also very intense. In the past few academy tournaments, Ares College had been disgraced and couldn't even enter the top 10. This had caused the other great academies to wantonly mock them, and everyone had been suppressing a ball of fire in their hearts. This time, Tong Yuan and Han Li had placed all their hopes on Ling Xiao and Tian Gang. They also believed that Ling Xiao and Tian Gang would definitely be able to obtain 2 spots in the academy tournament. This time, Ling Xiao had brought Yu Liangchen along with him as a great killing machine. He had already thought it through. If he encountered the disciples of the other 3 great academies, he would immediately close the door and release Yu Liangchen. At that time, they would definitely be pleasantly surprised. You can't rely on me. I won't snatch the limelight from you, big brother. You and Senior Tian Gang will definitely be able to sweep through all the outstanding heroes. Yu Liangchen couldn't help but laugh dryly as Ling Xiao stared at him. He had a feeling that something bad was about to happen. Junior brother Long, whether or not you can become the champion will depend on you. Tian Gang also came over, and said with a smile. Tian Gang's cultivation was still at the great circle of the Sky God realm, but his aura had become more complete and unfathomable. Tian Gang originally had the opportunity to break through to the Divine King realm, but he had suppressed it. Tian Gang was also an ambitious person. He wanted to obtain more foundation in the Void Sacred Realm before breaking through to the Divine King realm in one fell swoop. Senior brother, don't worry. The champion's position will definitely be mine. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He wasn't overly modest and directly nodded in acknowledgement. This was just an astral tournament, and Ling Xiao had long since set his sights on the entire deity realm. He had even set his sights on the countless geniuses and powerhouses of the various worlds. If he couldn't even become the champion of the astral tournament, how could he even dream of contending for hegemony and sweeping through the universe? Not only Tian Gang, but even Zhou Daoji, Wang Lin Minro, and the prideful Deng Gongjue didn't object to Ling Xiao's words. They knew how terrifying Ling Xiao's battle prowess was, and they were full of confidence in this academy tournament. Tong Yuan and Han Li looked at each other and smiled faintly. But at that moment, an ear-piercing voice rang out in the void. A mere great circle of the Sky God realm dares to boast shamelessly about becoming the champion? Aren't you afraid that the wind will cut your tongue? Kacha. The void trembled slightly as a resplendent light spread out. A black spatial treasure ship tore through the void and appeared in front of everyone. On the spatial treasure ship were 2 black-robed old men with sinister auras. Their eyes were emotionless, as if they didn't have any emotions. Behind them were 10 arrogant-looking young men and women with powerful auras. Each of them exuded an incomparably mysterious aura. The one who spoke was one of the black-robed young men. He had a handsome face, but his aura was incomparably feminine. His face was incomparably pale, but his eyes were silver, and he looked incomparably arrogant. His cultivation was at the early stage of the Divine King realm. Heavenly Curse Academy Sima Bo? Tong Yuan's eyes flashed as he stared at the black-robed old man. Chapter 1466. Tong Yuan, it's been 100 years since we last met and you haven't improved at all. How disappointing. Sima Bo glanced at Tong Yuan and said, It's true that I haven't taken that step, but isn't it the same? Otherwise, you would have been transferred back to the Heavenly Curse sect a long time ago. Tong Yuan replied indifferently. However, when he saw the 10 young men and women behind Sima Bo, his expression couldn't help but change slightly and become somewhat solemn. The 10 young men and women were clearly the genius disciples of the Heavenly Curse Academy. However, Sima Bo discovered that 5 of them had reached the God King realm while the remaining 5 were at the great circle of the Sky God realm. On the other hand, only Zhou Daoji had reached the Divine King realm from the War God Shrine. The gap between them was huge, especially the black-robed young man who had just spoken. He didn't look old, and was definitely less than 100 years old. However, he had already reached the early Divine King realm. His talent was shocking. However, what Tong Yuan didn't know was that Ling Xiao wasn't even 100 years old. Strictly speaking, Ling Xiao wasn't even 40 years old. It was just that ordinary people couldn't see through him. It's not that easy to take that step. However, my disciples have a lot of hope. I just heard that your disciple wants to take the position of the champion. You're really a newborn calf that isn't afraid of the tiger. Sima Bo laughed sinisterly as he glanced at Ling Xiao. His words were filled with mockery. Obviously, he was mocking Ling Xiao for overestimating himself. A mere great heavenly god, who wasn't even a divine king, dared to say that he wanted to take the position of the champion. Principal, some people are just frogs in a well. They're just like toads that don't know how high the sky is and how deep the earth is. The black-robed young man glanced at Ling Xiao, as if he was implying something, and laughed disdainfully. Guanchen, you can't say that. As the saying goes, one must have a dream. What if it comes true? Although others aren't strong enough, they can still dream about it. Sima Bo said with a smile. Principal, some dreams can come true. But some dreams are just fantasies and delusions that can never be realized. Guanchen sneered. As the two of them echoed each other, the disciples of the Heavenly Curse Academy roared with laughter, their eyes filled with mockery. On the other hand, the disciples of the War God Academy turned pale, and their eyes turned cold. They couldn't wait to beat the disciples of the Heavenly Curse Academy up. Hey kid with no hair on his lips. I think you're itching for a beating. If you didn't have enough milk, go home and look for your mother. My big brother will definitely be the champion of this year's competition. My big brother can beat 10 little brats like you. Yi Liangchen was scared. He glared at Guanchen and sneered. Tong Yuan's ugly. Guanchen's expression changed immediately. Yi Liangchen's insulting words had triggered his anger. A powerful aura was released from his body as if he was ready to fight at any time. Yi Liangchen sneered. He was extremely arrogant. The disciples of the War God Academy felt relieved. They were still complaining about Yi Liangchen's participation in the Academy tournament, but now, they couldn't wait to hug Yi Liangchen and kiss him. Yi Liangchen had never been afraid of anyone when it came to talking. Guanchen was about to go crazy. He pointed at Yi Liangchen and trembled. A late heavenly god was arrogant enough to say that he would teach him a lesson. He was a genius of the Heavenly Curse Academy, and an early divine king. He could crush Yi Liangchen with one hand. He even wanted to attack Yi Liangchen, and kill this bastard who had a foul mouth. Sima Bo stopped Guanchen, and looked at Tong Yuan coldly. Tong Yuan, you old man. Take care of your disciple. He will get himself into big trouble sooner or later. Tong Yuan felt very comfortable. He sneered and replied. Sima Bo, you should take care of your disciple first. I'll say it now. Long Outyin will definitely be the champion of the Academy tournament this time. Tong Yuan naturally had absolute faith in Ling Xiao. This was a ruthless person who could kill Bo Yu in close combat. Although he had many secrets, the stronger he was, the better it would be for Tong Yuan. If Ling Xiao couldn't win the championship, then the others wouldn't be able to either. Champion? Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? Tong Yuan, you old man. Since you have so much confidence in your disciple, why don't we make a bet? Sima Bo rolled his eyes and suddenly sneered. What do you want to bet? Tong Yuan asked calmly. How about this? We'll bet on the final results of this year's Academy tournament. I bet that he won't be the champion of the Academy tournament. If I win, I'll let your 10 disciples shout, I'm trash, in front of all the other disciples of the 100 Academy. How about that? Sima Bo said casually. However, his words caused the expressions of Tong Yuan and the other disciples of Ares Academy to change, and a trace of anger appeared in their eyes. This Sima Bo was really sinister. It seemed like it was not difficult to shout, I'm a good for nothing, but at the level everyone was in, it was the time to charge towards the divine path. They needed to advance bravely and press forward with indomitable will. If they shouted I'm trash in front of everyone, their Tao heart would definitely be damaged. At best, it would delay their breakthrough to the Saint Realm. And at worst, it would destroy their Saint Realm foundation. This was simply a scheme to kill them all. The people of Heavenly Curse Academy were truly sinister. Suppressing the anger in his voice, Tong Yuan said, If Ling Xiao becomes the champion of the Academy of the 100 Academies, will the 10 disciples of your Heavenly Curse Academy have to shout, I'm trash, in front of the other disciples of the 100 Academies? Sima Bo frowned, but still smiled. Of course. Since it's a bet, both sides have to be equal. However, I'm afraid that you won't dare to bet. Sima Bo was using the most clumsy method to provoke Tong Yuan. Speaking of which, Tong Yuan was also somewhat hesitant. Although he was full of confidence in Ling Xiao, there were too many geniuses gathered in the academy tournament, and there were too many unforeseen circumstances. The champion's position was unique and supreme. If something unexpected were to happen, then even if Ling Xiao obtained second place, Ares College's bet would still be considered a failure. Heavenly Curse Academy was certain of this, which was why they dared to make such a bet. Furthermore, this didn't concern Ling Xiao alone, but rather 10 disciples. Even if Ling Xiao was willing, the others wouldn't be willing to take the risk with him, right? Chapter 1467. That's right. What's there to be afraid of? I believe in Junior Brother Long. Junior Brother Long, kill them all. Show these bastards your strength. We'll bet. Tiangang, Zhou Daoji, Lu Zhengfeng, and the others all agreed to this bet. They were all hot-blooded youths, so how could they allow the Heavenly Curse Academy to be so arrogant? They were willing to believe in Ling Xiao because he was their savior. Moreover, they had personally seen Ling Xiao display his unparalleled divine might and destroy demon sage Bo Yu's body. That was something that not even a divine king could do, but Ling Xiao had done it. They also believed that Ling Xiao would definitely be the champion this time. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Dean, since someone wants to humiliate themselves, why don't we fulfill their wish? I'd like to see how this bunch of trash will have the face to participate in the academy tournament. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, Tong Yuan steadied his confidence and coldly said to Sima Bo, Sima Bo, since you want to bet, I'll bet with you. However, to prevent anyone from going back on their word, everyone will have to swear a heart demon oath. Do you dare? Sima Bo was surprised. He had only wanted to gain the upper hand with words, but he had never thought that Tong Yuan would agree to this bet. After all, Long Outyen was only a peak Empyrean god. There were quite a few early God King experts in the academy tournament this time, so a mere peak Empyrean god wanting to become the champion was no different from a fool's dream. However, when he saw Tong Yuan and the others' confidence in Ling Xiao, he began to feel bewildered. Could it be that this brat really had something extraordinary about him? However, he was now in a difficult position, so he naturally didn't want Tong Yuan to see his fear. He immediately sneered. Very well. Then let's swear a heart demon oath together. Thus, before the astral tournament had even begun, Ares Academy and Heavenly Curse Academy had already engaged in a shocking gamble. Although there were no disputes over benefits or resources in this bet, it was even more vicious. No matter which side lost, their Dao hearts would be damaged, and they might not be able to recover from the setback. They would fall from genius to mediocrity. Let's go. After swearing the Great Heart Demon Oath, Tong Yuan took a long look at Sima Bo and the others before leaving with Ling Xiao, Tiangang, and the others, flying in the direction of the Spatio-Temporal Academy. Sima Bo looked at the departing figures of Tong Yuan and the others with an uncertain expression. Dean, are you worried that the kid called Long Outyen has something special about him? However, there was nothing to worry about. No matter how strong his combat prowess was, it was impossible for him to be Yuan Fei's match. Moreover, don't forget about those 2 freaks from the Space-Time Academy and the 5 Elements Academy. The black-robed old man beside Sima Bo sneered. His gaze landed on a white-robed youth in the middle of the 10 disciples. The white-robed youth had a calm expression, and his eyes were incomparably deep. His entire person exuded an incomparably mysterious aura. The others looked at the white-robed youth with reverence in their eyes. Even the arrogant Guan Chen was full of respect for this white-robed young man. Yuan Fei, the peerless genius of this generation of the Heavenly Curse Academy. He possessed the cursed physique, and was fully deserving of being the #1 expert. The cursed physique was known as a peerless physique that was comparable to a supreme saint physique. It was only slightly inferior to the legendary Heavenly Curse sacred physique. He should have been nurtured as a true disciple of the Heavenly Curse Academy, but he had stayed in the Heavenly Curse Academy to participate in the 100 Academy tournament, and obtain a slot to enter the Void Sacred Realm. After seeing Yuan Fei, Sima Bo's heart calmed down slightly. He smiled and said, "You're right. I was worrying too much. This time, only those 2 freaks from the Spacetime Academy and the 5 Elements Academy can compete with Yuan Fei for the championship. The others won't be able to." When the 2 freaks from the Spacetime Academy and the 5 Elements Academy were mentioned, Yuan Fei, who had always been calm, revealed a strange expression. The names of those 2 freaks had already spread throughout the few heavens. They were famous for their prowess, and their strength was unparalleled. This time, even Yuan Fei had the intention of exchanging pointers with those 2 freaks. This time, the 100 Academy tournament was destined to be a gathering of geniuses. Countless geniuses would clash, and an incomparably intense battle was bound to erupt. Tong Yuan brought Ling Xiao and the others to the Spacetime Academy. The Spacetime Academy looked like a paradise. Auspicious vapors rose from it, and multicolored lights shone brightly. Ancient trees towered high into the sky, and the spiritual qi here was incomparably dense. It had even turned into a spiritual mist. An old man with a sage-like demeanor had already heard the news and welcomed Tong Yuan and the others into an exquisite courtyard. His name was Lu Yunxi, and he was an elder of the Spacetime Academy. He was in charge of receiving the participants of the 100 Academy tournament. "Fellow Taoist Tong, fellow Taoist Han, I'll have to trouble you to stay here for the next 2 days. If you need anything, feel free to instruct your servants. The 100 Academy tournament will officially begin in 3 days. During this time, aside from a few restricted areas in the Spacetime Academy, you can move about freely." "Excuse me." Lu Yunxi cupped his hands towards Tong Yuan and Han Li with a smile, then hurriedly left. The powerhouses of the various academies had arrived at the Spacetime Academy over the past few days, and the elder in charge of receiving them was frantically busy. Soon the Spacetime Academy became lively. The geniuses of the various academies arrived one after another, and exchanged pointers with each other. Due to the hot-bloodedness of the youths and the fact that they were all geniuses, no one was willing to submit to another. Although the elders of the various academies had restrained their disciples, there were still many small-scale fights. The Regal Academy, Sky Sword Academy, Great Zhou Academy, and Overlord Academy had all arrived. The Regal Academy was naturally led by Qinglian, who was an acquaintance of Ling Zhao's, Fang Chong. The Sky Sword Academy was led by a disciple called Jian Wangsun. The Great Zhou Academy was led by Ji Yuanlong, and the Overlord Academy was led by Jin Gang. Soon Qinglian and Fang Chong came to see Ling Xiao. "Congratulations, senior sister Qinglian. You've broken through to the God King realm." Ling Xiao glanced at Qinglian, a glint flashing in his eyes as he smiled. Although Qinglian was wearing a long green dress, had a beautiful face, jade-like skin, and a peerless beauty, her entire body emitted a sharp sword intent, like a peerless divine sword that had been unsheathed, making people not dare to look at her directly. Her cultivation had already reached the early God King realm. Ling Xiao could tell that Qinglian had probably just broken through, which was why her aura was still so sharp, and she had yet to completely restrain it. "I've made some progress recently, and I even broke through before the Academy tournament. However, junior brother Long, you're really famous wherever you go." Qinglian looked at Ling Xiao and smiled faintly. "Why do you say that, senior sister Qinglian?" Ling Xiao asked in surprise. After arriving at the Spacetime Academy, he hadn't gone out to wander around. Instead, he had been adjusting his aura and comprehending martial arts. Chapter 1468. Qinglian looked at Ling Xiao and said, "Junior brother Long, we all know that you defeated senior brother Tiangang in the Ares Academy's generational competition, but we didn't expect you to be so strong. However, the champion of the Astral Tournament isn't that easy to obtain." Under the intentional promotion of the Heavenly Curse Academy's disciples, the bet between Ares Academy and Heavenly Curse Academy spread throughout the entire Spacetime Academy, and Long Outyin became famous. However, almost everyone was waiting to see Long Outyin and Ares College become a laughingstock. One had to know that among the numerous geniuses participating in the tournament of the 100 Academies, there were more than 20 Divine King Realm powerhouses. Long Outyin was merely at the great circle of the heavenly god realm. Yet he was so arrogant as to say that he would be the champion. Many people were mocking him, waiting to see Ares College lose face. This was naturally something that the Heavenly Curse Academy was happy to see, and even the Great Zhou Academy's disciples joined in. Ji Yuanlong hated Ling Xiao to the bone, so he naturally wanted to use this opportunity to attack Ling Xiao. The astral tournament hadn't even begun, but Ling Xiao's image had already been ruined. Junior brother Long, we know that you are very strong, and you should have the strength of a divine king. However, there are too many geniuses in this astral tournament, and it will be too difficult for you to obtain the champion's position. Junior brother Long, you are too impulsive. Feng Chong smiled bitterly. Although his words were tactful, it was obvious that he didn't think that Ling Xiao could obtain the champion's position. You don't have to worry. I am confident. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, not minding these rumors at all. Since everyone was waiting to see him make a fool of himself, Ling Xiao would naturally give them a pleasant surprise during the astral tournament. Qinglian said, Junior brother Long, since you know what you are doing, we won't say anything else. Speaking of which, this year's academy tournament is actually a showdown between our 8 academies. Although Sword King's son, Ji Yuanlong, and Vajra have all broken through to the God King realm, I believe that they shouldn't be a match for you. However, you need to pay attention to 4 people. Oh. Senior Qinglian, please speak. Ling Xiao asked. Although the academy tournament hasn't started yet, there are 4 people who are hot favorites to win the championship. Many people are saying that the champion will most likely be one of them. The first one is Yuan Fei from the Heavenly Curse Academy. He has the body of curses, and his cultivation is at the early Divine King realm. His art of curses has reached perfection. He can kill people without them noticing. He is also the strongest expert in the Heavenly Curse Academy, Qinglian said slowly. Curse body. Ling Xiao had a strange look in his eyes. He thought of Yi Liangchen's saint physique of misfortune. Although the curse body was a powerful physique, it was far inferior to Yi Liangchen's saint physique of misfortune. He wondered what would happen if Yuan Fei met Yi Liangchen. Ling Xiao was looking forward to it. Seeing that Ling Xiao was slightly distracted, Qinglian continued. The second one is Jin Xianzong from the 5 Elements Academy. He has the saint physique of metal, which is one of the innate saint physiques of the 5 elements. He is also at the early Divine King realm, and the strongest in the 5 Elements Academy. It is said that he has already touched upon the true meaning of the Holy Tao. He is known as a freak. The third one is Shi Bufan from the Spacetime Academy. It is said that he has a trace of time origin energy in his body, and is proficient in the law of time. He is at the early Divine King realm, and has killed more than 10 Divine Kings and Demonic Kings. He is very strong and will be a strong opponent for you. Ling Xiao nodded. He had heard of these 3 people before, and they were indeed very strong. However, it was understandable that they had such strength since they were the absolute geniuses of the Heavenly Curse Academy, the 5 Elements Academy, and the Spacetime Academy. Moreover, Ling Xiao was participating in the Academy tournament not only to enter the Void Saint world, but also to spar with the geniuses of the Divine Realm. The stronger his opponent was, the more it would stimulate his fighting spirit. Qinglian said. However, you have to be careful of the 4th person. He is Duan Shuelu, a disciple from a very small academy called the Green Mountain Academy. He is at the early Divine King realm, and does not have any special physique or bloodline. However, his comprehension is extraordinary and he is extremely passionate about the Tao of the Blade. It is said that he has entered the Tao of the Blade, and comprehended the Saint Tao true meaning. He has never left any of his subordinates alive. When Duan Shuelu was mentioned, Qinglian's gaze turned slightly serious. She cultivated the Tao of the sword and had a pure heart of the sword. She naturally knew how terrifying such a pure sword cultivator was. Although such a person did not have exceptional talent or physique, and was born into an ordinary family, he had an indomitable spirit. He had risen from nothing and was far more terrifying than those absolute geniuses who were born with a golden spoon in their mouths. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he slowly nodded. When Qinglian mentioned the first 3 people, Ling Xiao did not pay much attention to them. However, the last person, Duan Shuelu, had piqued his interest. Speaking of which, Ling Xiao also rose from nothing and walked step by step from the mortal world to where he was today. Naturally, he knew the hardships along the way. Ling Xiao's physique was very ordinary. He did not have any innate saint physique or powerful bloodline. The dragon bloodline in his body was inherited from Long Hanyan, and he had devoured the dragon bloodline several times. That was why he had the divine dragon bloodline now. The higher one's cultivation realm was, the deeper one's understanding of heaven and earth became. The more Ling Xiao understood that the strongest part of a cultivator was not their weapons, martial arts, physique, bloodline, or birth. It was their heart. The stronger his heart was, the stronger his strength would be. There was a vast world in his heart, and everything in the world in his heart. There was a way to prove the Tao in his heart. Therefore, a person like Duan Shuelu was undoubtedly extremely terrifying and worthy of Ling Xiao's attention. Thank you for telling me, senior sister Qinglian. Ling Xiao smiled at Qinglian. He knew that Qinglian and Fang Chong were worried about him. That was why they collected the information and told him. It's good that you know what you are doing. Your talent is not weaker than any of them. It's just that your cultivation time is too short. If you are given a few more years to break through to the Divine King realm, I believe that they will not be your opponents. Qinglian looked at Ling Xiao and sighed softly. Fang Chong also persuaded. Junior brother Long, it's good to be the champion. If you can't, don't force it. What we are fighting for is the future, 10,000 years, the future of the divine path. I hope you can stay true to your heart and not be defeated by setbacks. Qinglian and Fang Chong were most worried that Ling Xiao would be provoked by the people of the Heavenly Curse Academy, and his Tao heart would be damaged. That would be the most terrible thing. Senior sister Qinglian, senior brother Fang, 10,000 years is too long. I am seizing every moment. I said that the position of the champion is mine this time, so no one can take it away from me. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.